It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time to strap in and do what we always do on the Splash Play channel. We're going to dig in and do a draft on every single platform on there. So the big tournaments on Underdog, on DraftKings, on Drafters, probably in that order, going to hit them all. That means a shot at combined $4.5 million today. Or, we're going to win it all. I think it's pretty obvious, you could say, from the jump here. I had a fun stream yesterday as well. Thanks to all you guys who joined me for that one. We got one spot left in this BBM, so if you actually want to draft me, you can. I figured it would fill by the time I was doing my spiel, but 20-second clocks here, which I've been enjoying a lot. I've actually been doing a shitload of drafts, including slow drafts this week. I actually have some fun takeaways too, including I'll give you guys a combo that I would say in previous years I might have felt a little shame, might have felt myself playing this little GIF. There is a combo that I like quite a bit that I've been taking a ton, which is a little bit, I'll say, controversial, sexy. We're not going to get it in this one, though, because I'm going to get Jamar Chase. I've been not getting a ton of 101s. But look, I'm here on Underdog, do my draft, and I'm so influential getting the 101 here and getting a crack at Jamar Chase. Shout out to all you guys hanging out. Again, if you're coming in live, hit the like button, subscribe, do all that stuff. But hopefully, you'll all learn that over the course of the video. And if not, fuck me, whatever. Shout out Chunk being here. Appreciate him. I'm sure he'll be joining me for some drafts coming up in a little bit. But we'll be hitting again DraftKings, Drafters after this. And in particular, this stream is presented by Drafters. It's been a good first month here, but want to see more of you guys coming on board on Drafters. Because number one, they pay me for it. Number two, it's a good site to play on because your chances of making big money on there go a little bit further. As I've talked about last year, or for Playoff Best Ball's past season, put in 3 entries all entirely on stream. Finished top 12 in the Playoff Best Ball tournament. Last year, I got finished top 100 doing the same amount of thing, just streaming only Drafters drafts on stream. I put in about 30, I think, that year out of 150. Your money will carry you further on Drafters. I do believe that strongly based on my results. So for you guys out there, obviously play your Underdog, play your DraftKings, but I think trying to diversify your spend, try some other platforms, and a total points format on Drafters will be a good move for you guys. So I'm getting the whoring out of the way earlier in the video than I normally do. So hopefully that means it'll work really well. But do want to make sure to give the shout out to Drafters because we are closing the first month here of my deal with them. So it'll carry me through the summer, hopefully. I mean, it will, but I say hopefully because who fucking knows. Mr. Poopy Butthole in here. Long time no see. Glad to see him on here. Yes, I will be on Drafters coming up for the last end of things. So we have plenty of time for you to go sign up if you want. But we'd love to get some new names in there on Drafters. Of course, I've read some of the usernames in the past who sign up. Many of them perverse. Very creative, though, lately was the one with Gentis diastema, I believe is what it is, which I was like, I don't even know what that word is. And I generally have a pretty good vocabulary. I'd say especially relative to a content creator. Especially relative to somebody drafting a lot of best ball teams in May. No disrespect. But diastema I had not heard of, and apparently that's just the gap between your teeth. So I was like, wow, I learned something from this person signing up for Drafters. So shout out to you guys out there who are signing up, and especially the ones that teach me words via your usernames. Actually got blessed to umpire a state semifinal game today. Okay. Oh, no. Game. All right, you got the dish, but you won't be able to draft. Tough to see, but glad you're here for it. Hopefully you're ready in your cute little umpire outfit. Little bow tie is what I'm really hoping you have to wear a little bow tie. I don't think you do. I assume not, but maybe. So I'm for Chunk, a rapper, part-time umpire. You got some different things. Chasing your passions. That's always good to see. Let's see what we got going here. We got Christian McCaffrey moving up at pick 9 here. That is a frequent thing I've seen in rooms lately. Him often going ahead of Genty seems like a thing that's popping up more. And if I had to guess, as long as McCaffrey doesn't have any setbacks this summer, as long as there aren't any weird reports about McCaffrey and the Niners, things going south there. And so far, it's been all rosy talk. Kyle Shanahan this week, I guess just within the last 24 hours, said something to the effect of like, well, I know what went wrong last year. And if it goes wrong again, I'd be shocked. I wasn't surprised by it. Something to that effect. So people are going to hear those quotes. They'll gain more confidence in it. For McCaffrey, though, I get the belief in what he's done in the past, the hope that he's fully healthy, though he is getting to the age where injuries start to accumulate. The mileage can accumulate. If you're not Derrick Henry, basically, that's the way that goes. But the big thing to me that stood out, and we talked about enough on stream, is he just didn't get the red zone work he got when he played last year. And granted, there is a new offensive coordinator coming in with Clint Kubiak, guy who really used Alvin Kamara well last year amidst a Saints season that was absolute dog shit. So I get buying in on McCaffrey, and I probably need to start buying in more. But right now, I still find Genty a more fun click, like the vibe from Vegas. So far, things they're talking about, teams seemingly buying in on Pete Carroll and the coaching staff there. Chip Kelly, I think, also has learned enough on his stays along the way. He's always been a guy that dedicates, creative plays to the run. Even though people have, earlier when he was first perceived as offensive genius, people kind of assume that goes hand in hand with like pass game, aggressiveness, being that Steve Spurrier type, historically, if you want to go even further in the past. But in reality, it was just you ran the shit out of the ball, ran it creatively, certainly did pass the ball a good amount. Yeah, I don't know. For Genty, I like him a lot, so I'm not going to take McCaffrey over him if I can avoid it, but I would like to start getting more McCaffrey because I've had kind of a blind eye to him so far. My favorite combo I've been taking in drafts a lot lately, and really it comes down to two guys, but because Saquon and Bucky have the same buy, I don't like it. I've been taking a lot of Bijan and Bucky together, and I feel the reason for it is, number one, just love these two guys. They're both really young. I've had tremendous fantasy success so far, and probably haven't hit their apex yet with Bijan heading into year 3, Bucky heading into year 2. But with these guys, really, to me, the main thing is like you can lock off RB. You also can just load up on a receiver on a run after that, which feels pretty nice. We got Trey McBride here. Very easy week 17 correlation, which a lot of people will have, but that's okay. And I'm going to do the double dip. I'm going to go both Cardinals here. I'm cool with Garrett Wilson. Think he will have singular ownership of that Jets offense. But a Chase, Harrison, McBride start here. We got the week 17 stack. Very obvious one for sure. But, IQ test. Let's see who's actually building that week 17 stack right now with the matchup between Cincinnati and Arizona. So, team so far, Jamar Chase, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison. I would have taken T. Higgins if he came back over Harrison for sure, but didn't happen. But yeah, I think the Bucky Bijan combo to me, basically what happens when you get Bucky, especially if you get it here somehow, which I've gotten Bijan at the 5, Bucky at the 20 pick. I've also got it over here where I took Bijan at the 3, got Bucky 22. I've gotten in a couple different spots that are very, very similar overall. It's one spot difference really, but that matters sometimes in the early parts of draft. People don't deviate from ADP quite as often, at least, in May. But you get Bijan and Bucky together. They have different bye weeks. So that's a big part of it too. If you take Saquon and Bucky together, you get slightly better ADP value on Bucky with that pick. And also Saquon, obviously a great combo to have. But both guys have a week 9 buys. So that's something that makes that combo a little bit less appealing. So Bijan and Bucky, you could take them with, in my opinion, 2 other running backs, and that's probably enough for you. Really, to me, anytime you take 2 RBs in your first, let's say 4 rounds, I would say in particular 3 rounds, that team should probably be a more hyper-fragile build, I would say, by modal RB if you want to use one Pat Kerrane the money a couple years ago in BBM. But I love the Bucky Bijan combo. I think that's one that's really comfortable to me. I take it a lot, feel really good about it. It actually got one with Trey McBride into BBM last night, which was really fun. Did have to then punt receiver a little bit further. But again, where receiver lines up ADP-wise, I think when you're over here drafting, it's just so easy to take RB and still get good enough receivers in. If you like Tyreek Hill, the bounce back for him, even though he's getting that age where bounce backs don't happen as much. Mike Evans here, though, I do like Garrett Wilson here. I mean, you'll see it on the side of the board as we go. But really think that for right now, Bucky Bijan, that is one of my favorite picks in a draft or combos in a draft. Would a CMC Bauer start the 1-2 turn be too crazy? I wouldn't really reach for that stuff too much at this stage of the game because you don't know how ADPs will flow throughout. I do think CMC, as long as he's healthy, does seem to be moving up. So I wouldn't hate you for taking it, especially if you're putting in a bunch of lineups. But I do think in general, what you want to do in the start of tournaments when they are ones that run the entire summer, like a BBM will, this isn't going to fill by July. You generally want to get the ADPs at the time frames they're at. So there's combos that you'll get now that won't be available in a month, that won't be available in 2 months, especially 3 months, especially as well. But yeah, because we'll have 3 months. That's just how the nature of ADP cycles work and news cycles, information coming out, injuries, obviously a thing that we never really want to talk about or try to predict, but they certainly can happen. Some big reaching going on here. Kamara at 46. I like Kamara. Seems like we're going to be doing some 0 RB here because the little RB piggies are coming out pretty hard and heavy, or hot and heavy. I would say hard and heavy. Devontae Smith here. Cortland Sutton. DK Metcalf. I've been trying to get some more Zay Flowers lately because I feel like I overlook him a little bit too much. He's going to be one of my picks here no matter what. A guy who's done what he did in year 2. Maybe not a great end zone targeter, which is what we really want to have for guys to have that maximum upside. But still feel pretty good about him. Might have been fun to do Metcalf and Devontae Smith. There's also no chance Joe Burrow is going to come all the way back. I'm going to go Cortland Sutton here. I think the Devontae and Hurts combo might have been more appealing than I initially sized it up. I was too locked in on Zay Flowers because I was thinking about Zay Flowers today pretty aggressively. Just thinking about him in the shower, just thinking about what he does in his off time, things like that. But for Zay Flowers, like, I think really the fact, again, guys playing well at a young age, same thing for Bijan, same thing for Bucky, really want to have that be a focus for me this year. Like, I'm still happy to take some vets. I take Mark Andrews. I'll take Travis Kelce a lot lately in drafts. I think the ADP works nicely sometimes when I'm looking for that first sign end. I have no issue with some old guys. Derrick Henry, I took in a room today. Comfortable with that for sure. But I think if you can get guys that are already, high ADPs, have proven that production, sometimes you get the Chris Olave, and those guys hopefully can bounce back next year. But often you can just catch a guy early. So I don't know. I'm sort of liking these guys more, like Bijan, like Bucky, like Zay. Harrison as well in year 2. Think that his ADP certainly is not reflecting the disappointment he was, though he is obviously down from where he was last year. But that kind of cost that he had last year, I feel like is still baked in. I'm surprised he never was a little bit lower, and it doesn't feel like he's going to get much lower with him adding some muscle, having some positive reports so far. So, but a lot of young guys here, and then Cortland Sutton, who's trying to get paid again. Zay Flowers, a young millionaire who's probably having a lot of sex. Okay. For some reason, I read that chat and I was like, oh, it's going to go somewhere here. That was going to be positive about his football. And maybe it is technically. So our guy Matthew here. We got some GMs. Appreciate all you guys hanging out today. And we got 3 drafts coming up today. So hopefully we can get some good stuff done here. I appreciate all you guys who have the notification bell on, because I do start these drafts sometimes early because it just comes down to the life schedule today. Alex has got an appointment at 3:30. We might go get a drink before we go pick up Luca. So, family stuff has to come first. So I put it on a 2 o'clock time. Just know the video will be going by that time. Usually the way that it goes when I do my scheduling. But sometimes got to start it early. So, and also, we don't want the guy in every room. You guys know what I'm talking about. We don't want Voldemort in every room. So I don't know. I don't want to quote Harry Potter anymore. I've never read Harry Potter, never watched Harry Potter. My wife loves it. So actually, funny thing that happened before with that was at one point I made a joke about her Harry Potter ornament, and Luca, just obviously like most kids his age, he's 3. He just, whatever daddy says for the most part is going to mirror. I was like, oh, Harry Potter, we hate Harry Potter. And he's like, yeah, we hate Harry Potter. Mommy loves Harry Potter, but we hate Harry Potter. She fucking hated that. So I had to walk that bit back. And I was like, no, we don't hate Harry Potter. Like, daddy was just joking. Like, blah, blah. Daddy's just jealous of Harry Potter. I don't know what spin zone I gave for it. So, I don't, but anyway, I don't know if we should quote Harry Potter at all. Cause like J.K. Rowling's using all of her money from the TV show they're putting out, to do anti-trans stuff. Like, which whatever you believe, I don't know. Like, I think you're an idiot, but still, I think a lot of people are idiots. That's fine. But to use your money, your own private money, to pursue this quest of getting them out of bathrooms and off of teams and whatever, it's like, Jesus Christ. Maybe I shouldn't say Voldemort. I should just say the fucking name. Voldemort's probably a fish who drafts terribly. He also has no nose and likely not having sex. So thank you for that update. Joe Burrow goes 69. I bet this guy, no, he's actually got T. Higgins. Thank God for Slurry. Good for Slurry picking up some value. The meme of the note on Twitter lately, of course, the hive mind of brilliance that's going on over there. They're all applauding each other for sniping Joe Burrow from people that have Cincinnati stacks. And oh, I'm doing a civic duty. I can't fucking do this for another year. I don't think, or my brain is going to bleed out. We got David Montgomery here, I think is a nice click to get us going at RB. Caleb Johnson, fine. Judkins, fine. But I really don't love starting with one of those guys as my RB. Would like to make it up at RB a little bit here, but could be kind of fun to get Laporta. And we'll see we get on the way back. So I'm going to do, well, no. Laporta's not enough of a discount. Let's not be idiots. Let's go Judkins. I've been a little down on Judkins. I think I need to open my mind a little bit more to Quinshon Judkins here. Think with him, the main thing that stood out, and same thing for Travion Henderson, who people are debating a little bit now. I know Hayden Winks put out an anti-tweet because the Patriots had some quote about, we got to figure out how to use them and whatever, in that way, that nebulous coach speak that sometimes happens. But in reality, for a guy who's your second round pick or whatever, or top drafted RB, I think for him, he's a player that they're going to try to get and figure out how to use. The main thing, though, for Judkins and for Travion Henderson is that they just split snaps last year. And the best predictor of future volume is volume in college. It's happened with guys that, frankly, you wouldn't have expected to get volume in the pros. Chase Brown was basically a 30 touch back a game his last year at Illinois. Then he comes into Cincinnati and he's probably most effective being a low touch guy, or maybe 10 to 15 touch guys, where I think his probably optimal efficiency would be. But then he still falls ass backwards into being a 20 touch back, getting 5 red zone opportunities a game. That's sort of how that goes for a lot of guys. When they haven't done that in the past, like Judkins has obviously spiked really big in the college football playoff. He and Matthew Golden, I think, really have benefited a lot from that being an extra little coat of wax on top of what they're doing as players. I'm not sold that like Judkins is going to be a full usage back, especially Jerome Ford's still there. Dylan Sampson, I still really strongly believe won't be ready for prime time, but they can mix him in like Jalen Wright got mixed in, and he will probably not be all the way adjusted from playing at Tennessee. But I just like Judkins. I honestly think that it might be possible that Caleb Johnson's better pick between them. But Judkins has upside. They took him with good draft capital. That's really the main thing here. And that's the main thing we have to be mindful of in best ball. If you don't like a player or don't love a player, you have to kind of adjust your priors. And that's what I'm trying to do with Judkins a little bit. Think you're an idiot, but that's okay. Spags 2025. Thank you. I think that's, frankly, that probably would be on my bumpers, my bumper stickers, my slogans. It would also be on my personal bumper. I'd wear it on my ass everywhere as I campaign the country. Frankly, with whoever wins the president, I don't think I have a great shot, but I think I'm disqualified or anything. But no, I don't know. I just like the Harry Potter using all your Harry Potter money to fucking just get people out of bathrooms. What the fuck? Just do a blunt draft like I did yesterday, J.K. Rowling. You have so much money. Can you imagine having that much money? And it's like, I can do anything in the world. But you know what I really want to do is make sure people can't go to a certain bathroom. Like, get the fuck out of here. Please. You got a lot of ways to use your money, guys. When you guys are all billionaires out there, please use it for more intelligent things. That's all I can ask. Nothing really too interesting going on yet. I feel like the team so far for me, I'm liking my start. Let's give the team a read. We got David Montgomery, Quinshon Judkins at RB, wide receiver Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison, Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton. Feels like a classic wide receiver room for me. Trey McBride, elite tight end. Happy to get him and Brock Bowers. Again, young guys who have done something already, have already earned a really high ADP, and maybe there's another level they can hit. Now, the Trey McBride is one of the highest paid tight ends in football. Who got paid first? Was it him or Kittle? I forget. Because Kittle's now the highest paid one, right? It was briefly McBride, then it quickly flipped to Kittle. I think that was the way that went. Or was it the inverse? Time flies when you're having fun here with football constantly still having news. J.K. Rowling must have seen a barrel of weenies in the girls' room when she was a kid. Just a barrel of them. J.K. has some big old titties. Okay, I didn't know that. I guess maybe that's the issue. She's like, I've got these big old titties. I can't have other people running around pretending that's my... I have no idea what she sounds like, but I can't imagine that was that far off. Oh, Harry Potter, you're a wizard. You're a boy wizard. There are only two genders of wizard. Okay, we got $10 more than McBride, just enough for an extra value meal. Kill seems like a cool dude. Again, he still follows me on Twitter, even though I DM'd him during that randomizer with Pete. So DM'd him asking about, I think, elite tight end viability was what the DM was that I had to send. So he's cool in my book forever. Until he unfollows me, then he's dead to me, which frankly it would be well deserved on my end to unfollow me. All right, we got Skattebo. I like. I still could do some scat. Skibbity bee bottle boat. Cam Skattebo, though, if you're not familiar with the case for Cam Skattebo, he's probably your best Bucky Irving comp in terms of my analytics. High avoided tackle rate guy, very efficient, RB at every level. Also, I think not bad versus an 8-man box, which sounds like a play on words for this horny group of folks that we call the Squirt Squad. Let's see. Where's numbers? There, I was looking at 24. That's why. I'm an idiot. Cam Skattebo. Let's just control F it. That'd be faster. I can pull up my sheet too. You can check out my data sheets, by the way, my rookie data, how they played their last year of college. And also I have ones for the previous season as well. On the Discord, they are pinned in there if you want to check it out, if you still care about that kind of stuff. It's Skattebo with 31% avoided tackle rate. Bucky was about 33 last year. 0.17 EPA per rush, 27 opportunities again. What did we just talk about with Chase Brown? Guys who had volume previously, they fall ass backwards into volume. That's just kind of who they are. Very high EPA per reception with a 0.5 EPA there. 5 red zone rushes a game. Was not fantastic in the receiving game in the red zone, but a 0.2 EPA when rushing. 0.38 0.38 EPA. Excuse me, that was way tougher to say than it should have been. For him as well versus an 8-man box. So Skattebo checks all the boxes besides the athletic profile thing, much like Bucky. Definitely they hit him a little bit through the RAS testing process at the combine and then also at his pro day. But Skattebo, I think the big issue there is that you have Tyrone Tracy, who to me, you had enough juice last year. I don't think he was a world beater or anything. Negative 0.1 EPA per rush for Tracy last year. Negative 0.06 EPA per target. 14 touches a game. Actually, no. 14 and 10 touches a game. 14 and a half almost. 1.3 red zone rushes a game. 0.3 targets a game. I think they're probably in a timeshare. I think you're looking at another version of Tennessee. I think would be a better comp. And I think they're priced like I think Tennessee should be priced as well. To me, Tyjae Spears, one of the cheapest guys in a draft right now. So I'm cool taking the shots on Skattebo. I don't want to be blind to Tyrone Tracy just because I like Skattebo. I don't think, and again, I'm the Bucky Irving guy, and that's, again, I'm like, hey, I'm the Bucky Irving guy. That's what I say to, if I were single, that's what I would say to women at bars. Bucky Irving guy that was like really on him from day one because like I thought Rachaad White was very displaceable. I don't think Tyrone Tracy is like very displaceable. He also had a 16% avoided tackle rate, which is fine. It's not great. Could be better. Like he's not as soft as Rachaad White was, who was just like shitty the year before last. So I think that's the issue for Skattebo. Is like I think he's as good as Bucky. I'll say that out loud. I think he's as good as Bucky in terms of things that I look at and how he'll actually play when we get into practices, into games. I don't know that he's good enough to immediately ice Tyrone Tracy or to ice him even if he's great. Like I think Tracy might still deserve 10 rushes a game. Maybe still red zone work. I think you might look at a pure 50-50 here. That's that. No wands in the chamber sake. Well, I think she wants all wands. She wants all, but they have to be naturally created wands. It can't be just you refashioning your old ball sack into a wand or your old labia rather into a wand. You can't do that. Your urethra can't be turned into a wand. Or J.K. Rowling will be verklempt. We gotta take some more players here. Still need more at RB, so like ATN being a click here, I'm comfortable with that. I take a lot of Bateman. Really, end of sentence. I like Bateman. There's a report here on Underdog's note that I guess they almost traded Bateman, but Bateman did not get traded. I feel like he's just a perfect wide receiver 5. I'm okay having him with Zay Flowers as well. Maybe a little bit dumb to have the 2 receivers with a running QB as your mini stack that's not with the QB. But frankly, I end up a lot, I've noticed so far with like Baltimore minis, Buffalo minis, because you have enough options there to take that feel pretty good at this point in the draft. Josh Palmer, 123. I love the guy in the 140s. I think 123 is a fair price tag. He's kind of their Rashad Bateman. Probably less downfield spike week upside on deep balls and stuff like that. But Josh Palmer getting some good camp hype. Elijah Moore getting decent camp hype. I just don't know how he fits into that offense. Yeah, a lot of Buffalo minis for me, a lot of Baltimore minis. I don't know. I think they feel pretty good. A Bucky guy, because his film was nuts. My Bucky this year is Taj Brooks, recently discovered. Try to get more exposure. Taj Brooks didn't grade out that well for my stuff. He only has 16% avoided tackle rate, 15% stuff run rate. I mean, that's flat. He got 30 touches a game. EPA is not that impressive either, 0.07 EPA per rush. I mean, they're all positive to his credit. So, look, you see what you see. Ultimately, you can die on the hills you want to die on. I don't know that I would trust Taj Brooks to take work away from Chase Brown, but he's free in a draft, so you can go there. Certainly wouldn't begrudge anybody going there. But with the Bengals too, they do have Zach Moss maybe coming back from that neck injury. Did bring back Pirine. I don't think it's a clean path for Taj Brooks to play this year. And that was the thing for Bucky, is like I thought there was a clean path for him to overcome and get out there. And then also in camp right away, he was kind of working with the first team, so backed out my initial projection for him, and that made me keep taking more. For Taj Brooks, I don't think that's happened yet. I don't think that's how it goes. Happy to expand your vocabulary today. I love to hear that. Do you have a take on KC RBs? For the running backs, I mean, I think for me, I don't think Pacheco's at a good ADP. I also think it's bad news that he put on weight were the reports that came out there. So obviously the assumption is that you are sort of getting in the spot with that where you probably don't have full trust in Pacheco being the back that was actually good in fantasy. Like if they're trying to make him into a power back, and last year he couldn't avoid tackles. So maybe that's it. It's just like they're leading into the strength of him more. He's really not big enough to be a power back. And he was also really one of the least efficient RBs in football too. I mean, for a guy who should be good, I guess, relative to what people expected of him, negative 0.08 EPA per rush, negative 0.09 EPA per pass. The 5% avoided tackle rate though is like, I don't know. That's not even possible. Like for a running back, you're talking about half what a Joe Mixon gets, who people assume is dust, has no shiftiness at all. You're talking about half of what, I mean, Alexander Madison got 7% avoided tackle rate. It's like there's just nothing there in terms of like what he showed last year. But, you know, they could try him again. I think bringing in Mitchell's not good. Bringing Hunt back's not good. Rashard Smith, I don't think matters. But to me, I think the most appealing one's Mitchell. I think he got paid pretty well. Feeling like we need another RB here. And I am going to go Garendo. I think Garendo, to me, pretty comfortable with him having some role. And if I'm not taking McCaffrey in a draft, I can make that bet on McCaffrey not getting back to his old usage. Need to think about my second QB end game here. I am going to go Tank Bigsby, though. I like making this play sometimes, and I think in this RB room, it'll allow me to sort of focus on getting another stack going. But basically, just an anti-Bashal Tootin bet, a bet as well that much like Tampa Bay was last year with Liam Cohen at the helm, that they're just going to end up using these guys differently. Where Bigsby, my guess would be, is you're between the 20s back, first to third down's a good amount. I think he also gets goal line work. But, ATN being out there for passing downs, being out there for early downs as well wouldn't be a shocker. The point is it's an ambiguous backfield, and, I don't think there's going to be one guy who wins it outright. I think it's going to be a committee approach between the three guys there, or at the very least, ATN and Bigsby. I'd say possibly, three including Tootin. So I'm okay with that for a 6-star B right now because really just didn't love receiver here. Don't want to make a move at QB yet. So our room so far here, or my team so far, a 1-6-5-1. We got Kyler Murray, so a little bit of a discount on him ADP-wise. RB started late, which I'm not comfortable with, honestly. I take our early RB enough now that I've kind of grown accustomed to that being the way to build. The zero RB just doesn't feel as great to me this year, even though I know the upside is similar, especially if the pass game starts to get a little more level out. But we got David Montgomery, Quinshon Judkins, Cam Skattebo, Travis Etienne, Isaac Garendo, Tank Bigsby. At receiver, Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison, Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton, Rashad Bateman. So that's a good top 5 for me. I'm cool with that. But certainly the Baltimore part, I think you could question on a projection level because you have obviously a lot of rushing touchdowns going Lamar's way and also Derrick Henry's way. And a tight end, we got elite tight end, Trey McBride. So we got Cincinnati, Arizona stacked up for week 17. At this point, what would be the easiest week 17 stack to hit? In KC, we can't do backdoor. I think it's just got to be a brand new one. I mean, Jacksonville, Miami would be there, but we lost the good Miami pieces. Fun fact about Miami, too. Apparently, Jalen Waddle, I've seen him go a lot higher in rooms. Didn't realize why. Then I opened my For You page on Twitter today, which I still used to browse, even though I do think engaging on Twitter is one of the least enjoyable things you could possibly do as a human being. I saw that Adam Levitan had put out a tweet about Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill is old and there's not another good receivers there, but Jalen Waddle is really efficient in the last couple of years. I think the big thing that picture is missing is that Devon Achane got targeted like a wide receiver last year. He got targeted better per route than Waddle did, than Tyreek did. He was force fed the ball. That changes the equation when you use your RB as legitimately a wide receiver. For all the talk that Hayden Winks had for the Travion Henderson thing, we were talking about before. Miami's literally one team that used their RB like a wide receiver. Achane went in the slot, got some snaps there. He did do other stuff and obviously got a ton of catches out of the backfield as well. That's the missing part of the equation. And Achane in year 3 should theoretically get even more of that work. So I don't get the Waddle steam. I get he's young. He's still getting paid huge money on that aspect. But I think it's more of a reflection. People just don't like Tyreek Hill. And I'm not sold that either Tyreek or Waddle are good clicks. But Achane, I think, is a very good click because he dominated that offense last year. I don't think Ollie Gordon's going to be one to upset that apple cart personally. Thoughts on Broncos wide receivers? Can't help wish casting Devon Valley is really underrated. When you bring in Pat Bryant, he's really coming directly for that Valley role, and Valley is old and not a prospect of note and didn't get Michael Thomas comps. So I would say if you are thinking that it's going to be the case for that team, I would say you're probably going to get more Pat Bryant than you are going to get Devon Valley. We're on the clock here. I think now's the time to think really about QB2. Bryce Young has some options late. Cam Ward is the one I take all the time. It's just too easy to get him. Penix, though, 148. I think we just got to backdoor it. And I think we could do a 3 QB. I've got concepts of a plan here. I'm going to go with Cam Ward as well. Cam Ward's got late targets to hit. Okonkwo, obviously being a noteworthy one. Lockett is still one I'm willing to take. I'm not buying the Gunnar Helm stuff, by the way. I think that he is going to be a blocking tight end. I don't think he takes a role from Okonkwo, who actually showed a lot down the home stretch last year, being targeted at volume. But I also can maybe take some NO stuff late for Cam Ward as well. I think I could build 2 more game stacks potentially. Not going to be the best game stacks in the world because I'm not going to have Drake London, not going to have Darnell Mooney, not going to have Kyle Pitts, who's the subject of trade rumors now. Not going to have the best Rams either for that week 17. But I think we just needed more at QB, and that's the way I'm going to try to tackle it. So let's give the team a read here because I think I need to recalibrate for these last 3 rounds for myself. Definitely need to focus on tight end more. We got Kyler Murray, Michael Penix, Cam Ward. Really feel like getting that snipe on Burrow. We went to a Higgins drafter, so can't be mad about it. But getting Burrow all the way back would have made this team have a completely different texture. David Montgomery, Quinshon Judkins, Cam Skattebo, Travis Etienne, Isaac Guerendo, Tank Bigsby. At receiver, a 0 RB start, which again just doesn't feel as good this year to me. Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison, at least from the one hole. Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton, Rashad Bateman, then a tight end, Trey McBride. Yeah, I really think this side of the board right now and where we are, at least in BBM ADPs, and I think still most of the other tournaments, I think that over here, going RB early is better because the wide receiver pockets end up feeling pretty nice. Obviously, you could drag some guys up if you want, but it's really easy to land like 5 receivers in a row after your first couple of running backs over here that feel pretty good. Over here, I think you end up going wide receiver first a lot, or maybe more balanced too, and that works well. Middle, I don't really have a feel for. I feel like I'm not getting a lot of middle right now. But I've gotten a ton of like 2, 3, 4s lately. And 2 RBs in a row or 2 out of your first 3 rounds over here. It's really easy to build wide receiver there. Front of the board does feel great this year. I mean, I think that's the difference. Like, it doesn't feel great unless you take a couple RBs early on. And then you can sort of play with that and feel some confidence you're going to have really good production. And by like RBs early on, I mean, I'm talking about your bell cows, like your Saquons, your Bijans, your Jonathan Taylors, your Jacobs, Bucky Irving. I guess Kamara would count. This guy dragged up Kamara by about 10 picks. And Connor, man, this guy fucked up the board, I think. Because like he picked Kamara 10 picks early, Connor 15 picks early. It's been feeling like the RB pockets haven't been aligning in a way that I've been comfortable with, but whatever. Doesn't really matter. We'll get the team on track here. 3-6-5-1. Again, have a really good base of top 5 at receiver, so I feel okay about that part. And again, we're just going to do some stacking on top of it, so that is what it is. I think here's where we get the Tennessee parts. Lockett and Okonkwo. We could make a really weird bet at tight end if we wanted to make the bet that Kyle Pitts gets traded. Could take Charlie Werner with Michael Penix and just see how that goes. We are running out of time here, though, to make it up at any other position. So we got to, I think, take another tight end or another receiver. I'm probably receivers the way I'm going to go. Team right now is a 3-6-6-2. Again, Best Ball Mania is the draft we're doing. After this one, going to be hitting DraftKings Millionaire Maker on there. So stay tuned for that. And then Drafters will be hitting the last stop on our journey. So go sign up on Drafters now. You get to the last draft with me on stream, should you so desire. Kyler Murray, Michael Penix, Cam Ward at QB. At RB, David Montgomery, Quinshon Judkins, Cam Skattebo, Travis Etienne, Isaac Guerendo, Tank Bigsby. At receiver, Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison, Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton, Rashad Bateman, and Tyler Lockett. And a tight end, Trey McBride, and Okonkwo. So we got Cincinnati, Arizona, week 17, really nicely stacked up with key parts there. Besides that, just kind of had to put some shit together. The QB kind of got away from me. Penix being a huge value, I just wanted to soak that up. And I do think Penix going 20 spots after ADP, he's one of my favorite QB clicks this year. I like, he goes way too low. Maybe it'll take him getting into camp, but he was like good down the home stretch, showed big upside, especially on DraftKings, the 300-yard bonus. Like, I think he's going to throw for 300, a good amount in that offense. I am, I don't know. I'm baffled. I'm baffled by Penix not being higher. He's the kind of guy that these like rooms usually love and steam up. I mean, they steamed up Jaden exponentially. And obviously, well-deserved. Jaden was one of the best QBs in fantasy football and real life football last year. Penix, though, for a short run, and people just think he's like not going to start. I don't know what the fuck the deal is there. I'm ripping bongs until jumping in the draft. Daddy Spags. Thank you, Mr. Poopy Buttle. Get yourself nice and prepared. Have I been dragged in by the early reports on Restrepo? No, but honestly, he is a guy that I take a lot of Lockett now because Lockett's free and they're bringing him in and he is just a slot guy. But I think that for Restrepo, he's probably that ambiguous bet here, and I'm taking the old guy in that bet right now. I think that's the issue, is that Lockett could hold him at bay, but I should probably take some Restrepo to balance out my Lockett because I think they're competing for that same slot role that could have value. It's just hard for, I mean, again, the same college thing helps out a little bit. Hard to make it as an undrafted guy and be like meaningful. But he was good in college. Like his Miami numbers graded out well to me. He's just as slow as shit in his 40 time, and that killed him. So I don't know. Penix is cheap considering the price of stacking partners. That's another thing too. And that's something, same thing for DFS as well, where it's like, why do the wide receivers have so much ownership but the QB doesn't? Normally a sign you should try to, play that stack with the QB. For Penix, it's like, you have London going really high. Mooney's going, I think, creeping up even higher. Pitts is probably going to float around a little bit because of the trade rumors. But, I think that for Atlanta, they've got really nice weapons. I thought that offense came together well with Penix last year. I could see them having a lot of shootouts because I don't think the defense is going to be good enough either. So I don't know. I love Atlanta, man. Really, really big fan of Atlanta. Ayumanor goes, so we won't be doing Tennessee stacks, but that wasn't really my plan anyway. I think we're going to do a Falcon here. I'm thinking, Ray got drafted? Fuck's drafted Ray McLeod? Oh, you asses. All right, well. No Ray McLeod. It's thought I was gonna be able to stack up. Should I just do Kadarrell Hodge for silliness? And like Westbrook-Akine is a pretty nice click. Still be here. Felton I could still take. Felton being a better version of Jalen Naylor, I think, is a good possibility. Torrey Horton, the only outside receiver that matters for that team. That could be something. So the final team here after it kicked me out, we got Kyler Murray, Michael Penix. I could have read it in that screen. Cam Ward at RB, David Montgomery, Quinshon Judkins, Cam Skattebo, Travis Etienne, Isaac Guerendo, and Tank Bigsby. So RB room, again, a classic zero RB room. I would say that doesn't make me feel the most comfortable in the world just because of the fact it's not what the board is this year. I think you got to take an early RB. And I personally, you guys know, I was one of the last men off the ship last year when ADPs moved. Had some teams that still worked out well enough, but really don't want to do it too much this year. Wide receiver, zero RB, that is. Wide receiver, Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison. I'll try again, but I don't think it's going to go well. Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison. So good week 17 correlation, including Trey McBride, Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton, Rashad Bateman. That we starved the position for a while because I feel like we got a pretty good top 5 receiver, including that nice value on Bateman. Then Tyler Lockett and Westbrook-Akine, former Titans, current Titans, coming together to win me money. And a tight end, Trey McBride, Chig Okonkwo, 2 guys I liked, did well for me last year, in particular in the playoffs for Chig. I'm cool with that team. Think it could have been better for sure, but that's the way it goes. DraftKings draft up next, guys. We're drafting every platform. That one filled, was pretty much a flash fill. I got in Windows 11 out of 12. So we'll draft with these weirdos on here. You will get to draft me on Drafters, though, in the last stage of our journey, so stay tuned there. Of course, promo code SPLASH at drafters.com or on the Drafters app. You get yourself a $100 deposit match, so please do join along on there. But I got to say it. So I've got a lot of critiques for Underdog in terms of like how the apps are running for me lately. I've had so many issues, including drafts starting, making picks for me without actually telling me the draft was live. That's been awful. Sometimes when you like browse around, try to look at other drafts, and maybe because I have 20 slow drafts going, that might be part of it because the Schnauzer wanted to max that, and I just did all slow drafts for it. It'll now like kick me around drafts, and I actually can't get into the draft I want to unless I exit the app out on my iPhone. Really been a shitty experience. That said, because of how fast the 20-second clocks are, you see we got that draft done in about 35 minutes. It is a lot nicer to draft this year. So even with the mobile issues, which have literally submarine entries, when I was also in the car over the weekend for Memorial Day, Alex was driving, did a draft. I was on connections, could watch, could be on Twitter, could be on YouTube. It was all fine. It kept logging me out over and over again. Underdog cost me 5 picks in a 20-second BBM. That was awful. I would say be mindful of drafting on mobile with a 20-second clock. But just how much faster it goes. And also too, frankly, I don't think the teams are as good. The people are building think they can't handle the extra 10 seconds of clock being gone. And people might not realize that. I think 20-second drafts in BBM are a very good time this year. So I've enjoyed it quite a bit. But we're on DraftKings now, but I just wanted to say that because I've been critical of a lot of Underdog. I think it's finally nice to be able to say this stuff because when you are, in the partner ecosystem, you're I feel the pressure, I think, to be, I won't say disingenuous, but to hold stuff back like you would for anybody, like your partner. If your partner's fucking going through issues, you're not telling all your friends like, man, so-and-so drinking a lot lately. You keep that to yourself. But when they have a lot of stuff that's been going wrong, and I noticed the quality deprecation, It's not the best thing in the world. And also, again, the Twitter users being fucking angry weirdos who are underdog users, not the best. But man, that 20-second clock makes up for all of it. Like, it's just so nice to be able to get it done. Really do appreciate it. Anyway, we got pick 3 here, so fairly influential. Could be a somebody plus Bucky situation. I could try and build that out on DraftKings. Doing it a ton on Underdog. We'll see what we get. Everyone loves a naked Penix except for J.K. Rowling. Well, she likes the biologically real Penix. Penix is horny. Maybe my favorite Week 17 memento or mnemonic. I don't know why I said memento. All right, we got Jefferson here, Bijan here. Obviously, I love Justin Jefferson. I want to see what happens if I could do the Bijan Bucky. So I'm going to do Bijan, pick 3. Love Bijan. Great red zone work last year. A plus EPA runner, plus EPA in the pass game as well. Those are the players I want to gravitate towards. And really, 3 guys fit that criteria meaningfully. It's Saquon, it's Bijan, it's Derrick Henry. Gibbs might as well. Gibbs, 0.13 EPA per rush, 0.13 EPA per pass. Very well balanced. 21% avoided tackle rate. Also pretty nice. And Gibbs, another guy as well. College had a 33% avoided tackle rate. In the pros, you land more 20 to 25%, but still a very good number relative to the NFL. The only guy who's kept this college avoided tackle rate is Kenneth Walker. He's just a monster. Nobody can tackle that motherfucker. Who else amongst the top backs? Genty was not a plus EPA receiver at Boise State. I don't think that's necessarily his fault, but it could be his fault. McCaffrey last year, I assume, was in the negatives. McCaffrey, flat 0. No, it's Luke McCaffrey. Never mind. His numbers don't matter. Yeah, McCaffrey was bad last year. McCaffrey, negative 0.08 EPA per rush, negative 0.34 EPA per pass. 14% avoided tackle rate is better than you'd think for a guy coming off his injuries. But 1.8 red zone rushes, 1 red zone target a game. It's a big drop off. It's about half what he got the year before last in the red zone. And Derrick Henry, I know. Positive EPAs in both. Your top RBs really do fit the criteria of everything I look for in a running back. Got an Android, had a lot of issues on mobile with Underdog the last few years, but it's gotten better for me recently. So maybe that's the issues. They're shifting development. Honestly, for companies, that could be it, especially when you're a company of their size. Sometimes you just shift the resources around and then one thing suffers because another thing is like doing better. So they could just have made the Android product better and then the iOS people are not getting the same budget or whatever time. I don't know. Is it difficult to get a Puka, London, Adams super stack for Week 17? You're not getting Adams back here very often. Adams, I've also started to see go in the high 20s, and I think it's totally fine and deserved because Adams is going to come in and be, I would think, a more juice, higher upside at this stage of things version of Cooper Kupp. And Cooper Kupp, for whatever flaws he had last year, especially down the home stretch, still got targeted at a really high rate. It was still I think it was a 30% target per route run or something. Yeah, 29.9%. So basically 30 target per route run for Cooper Kupp last year. And that was with him being dust. So Adams, I think, is a very similar player. I really think they're honestly at similar stages of their career. But Adams, we know every fucking year spikes in the playoffs. I think he's going to come up a lot. So yeah, I would say that's rare. And I think it's going to get rarer as the summer goes on. Because if I had to guess, frankly, Adams could come up to the 2-3 turn and it wouldn't be a real big shocker to me. People like Adams a lot. And people also love recency bias, and Adams has been literally a guy you needed in the playoffs, or who would have won you all the money 2 years ago. Whenever he's been out there, like he spikes in the playoffs for whatever reason. All right, let's see. D to the Jones. Why don't you take Jonathan Taylor? Why don't you just take Jonathan Taylor and go, ooh, I love Jonathan Taylor. He won everybody all the money last year. Take your fun running back, and I could do something different. I think that'd be good for everybody here, D to the Jones. Like his avatar, though. Love the Stan Marsh avatar. Or the Randy Marsh, rather. Bucky, here we go. All right, we're having fun. We're having fun. Having fun taking running backs. I'm now that guy. But these are my boys, Bijan and Bucky. RB Piggy, yes, RB Piggy. But these piggies are scarfing good. Ooh, I can't imagine a life without running backs, but like fucking alpha running backs here. Bijan, Bucky, the young guys. Give me Gibbs and one of these guys too. I'd be happy with that. But no real guys taking work away from him. Algier will take some targets, or not some targets, take some red zone touches away from Bijan if the game is safely ahead. That's always the thing. Because basically for Algier, they're happy to play him when you don't need the ambiguity of whether it's going to be a run or a pass. But Bijan gives Atlanta that flexibility that they clearly liked a lot last year and used it well. And for Bucky, 1,500 yards as a rookie when you were in a timeshare and they didn't seem to want to play you as much as they could have early in the year. How does that go worse besides injury? How does that go worse? So if I could get Bijan and Bucky, I'm going to do it. That's one of my edicts this year. Oink, oink. Yes, I'm a piggy. I get it. Nice fancy flock. I have a lot more viewers live if we were doing that. Stay kosher, my friend. I mean, look, I'm just gobbling up. I guess I'm the piggy. I am the piggy. I'm not gobbling up piggies. Though that would be fun too. You know what? Let's have some real. No, do we not? I want to do Josh Allen. Fucking DraftKings really ropes you in with Josh Allen having that stupid early ADP. I like Garrett Wilson here. I also think it wouldn't be crazy to pull up Adams. And I'm going to do that. I talked myself into Adams here. Devontae Adams, we've now got ourselves some week 17 correlation. Garrett Wilson versus Devontae Adams, the big reason to take Garrett Wilson would be he's got the entire run of the pass game there. But I think that for Devontae Adams, projection-wise, if I had to give these two guys, I think Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams are very similar players. So start so far, Bijan, Bucky Irving, Devontae Adams, wide receiver 1. Going to have to go on a receiver run now no matter what, so that's fine. But basically for me, again, I would have been okay taking Garrett Wilson, but Adams wasn't coming back to 46, so kind of had to make my choice. Take so much Garrett Wilson, take a ton of Garrett Wilson. I think it's a fine pick. I think the big thing for me in that Detroit offense that they're bringing over the Jets, or at least, Detroit principles, you're going to be able to scheme open one guy. And frankly, you have a shot that like Garrett Wilson gets that Ben Johnson fulcrum slot role because he's really the only guy that matters. So he could be kind of a version of Amon-Ra there. But I said it, I think in the Discord yesterday or recently, like I think there's going to be days where Garrett Wilson can give you 10 for 200. Maybe he doesn't even give you a touchdown there, but gives you like really big numbers because he's going to be the only receiver that like matters there. Josh Reynolds, they signed, obviously some trust there from the former Detroit guys, which, Josh Reynolds being in the mix for sure. Lazard, I don't think has the same upside with Aaron Rodgers not there. Part of the way he had so many fantasy points last year was those bullshit 50-yard Hail Marys that Rodgers and Lazard had worked on for years whenever there was sort of an offsides or a game situation that necessitated it. With those being gone, Lazard, I just don't think matters this year. I guess he could. But Arian Smith coming in, another fast guy. He's not really a target earner. So I think it all just comes down. And Mason Taylor, too, like definitely not a target earner at LSU. So it all goes to Garrett Wilson, I think. The backs will probably be involved. I think you'll get some good check down work. Hopefully for Breece, but I would say at very least Isaiah Davis getting some of that. But yeah, that's it. Hey, Jason, go fuck yourself. You don't need to... to piss off. He wasn't coming back to 46, though. I stand by that. He came to 43, sure. But I'm surprised by that. Every room I've been in, and maybe it's an underdog thing. Though I think somebody reached for Adams yesterday when I was on my DraftKings stream on Stochastic as well. I've seen Adams come up, so I'm cool taking him here. But as we always say, when somebody, ADP is a thing where it's a sliding scale. If you took somebody 4 picks early, somebody got that guy 4 picks later. That's how it works. So I'm not surprised that if I took him 6 picks early, he might fall 8 picks. DK's batshit crazy. Hard to say what happens. Fair enough. Fair enough. Nonetheless, you did absolutely piss on my parade, Jason. And I love you. You are a regular, so I'm not going to berate you. I'm also going to make some rules around here. I'm not going to berate people as much. I'm going to try not to, even if it's a bit. I'm not going to do that bit anymore because I feel like people don't get that it was a bit. So it's my mellow vibes. I did smoke a joint on stream once this year. And now it's mellow vibes everywhere I could possibly go. Might be the latest I've seen Marv go. All right, where did Harrison go? I didn't notice that. Oh, wow, 38. Yeah. Okay, good. As long as you didn't get Devontae Adams, then good. Then we both have failed in our Devontae Adams quests. But yeah, look, DraftKings are going to get ADP value. That's certainly one of the parts of DraftKings. Hasn't been as egregious this year, I feel like, but certainly I expect it will be at some point. We got Travis Hunter here, really the only guy we'd want to take, although McMillan's a little bit underrated on DraftKings, especially as a guy I think is going to be very PPR friendly. So I'm going to go up and get Tet McMillan. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I like Tet. think he's going to be a great targeter, already getting the X routes with the starters for Carolina. He was a great targeter in college, also really good after the catch in terms of avoiding tackles, which, was also something that Quentin Johnson was good at. So, it's not everything. But still for Tet McMillan, think that he's in an offense that'll be better this year. And this will give us some late outs at QB too. So Tet, to me, Tet could be the best receiver out of a group with like Devontae Adams, I think. For a fantasy team and for a real life team, potentially. Love smoking my Puffco with you, Spags. Cheers, my guy. You right back at you. Shouts to all you guys, whatever you're enjoying on this fine Friday. I'm sure you have some folks having a drink, some folks having an adult joint, bong, whatever, vape, whatever you're doing out there. Enjoy yourselves. Some people just probably at work. So there's a little bit something of everything. Some people in bed. I don't know. Some people masturbating. When in doubt, you just have to assume somebody out there is jacking it to you. That's what keeps me feeling sexy. Just want to believe that there's always somebody in the world jerking off to you. That's why women are always so happy, All right, we got 2 receivers here. We need more receivers for sure. At work and masturbating. Oh, great. RTO. Here's one of your RTO perks because we're so desperate to get people back in the office. You get to jerk off at work. Congratulations. We got Jameson Williams here, who I'm trying to get more of. JMO is going to get steamed up. JMO, in my opinion, will be going in the 30s at some point during this summer draft cycle. Too much steam coming his way from the team. The coaches talk him up at every turn. He is stronger. He is faster. He is smarter. He's getting every possible hyperbolic quote that you can get, including from Johnny Morton, the coach coming in. Might not be great, frankly, for Amon-Ra St. Brown at that ADP he's at, especially when he goes more, 8-9 area. At the turn, at that point, you just take the shot for the upside. But JMO, I think, is going to come up. If I had to guess, JMO comes into this Rashee Rice area on DraftKings. I think would feel right for him. People love Detroit. Super Bowl contender. I mean, what are you going to do? Get the draft board better. We got Adams, Tet McMillan, Jameson Williams. And then on top of that, Bucky and Bijan. Woo, this team. I don't have my lighter in here from yesterday, but we are cooking. We're cooking with flames. Jameson Williams is so much smarter this year. He isn't even gambling on his own account. No, the thing is he's so much smarter. He's using, can I use some plugs? Jameson Williams is so smart. He's actually now using tools like Unabated, 20% off for Unabated, link down below. Jameson Williams is now intelligent enough to go to Unabated, use market-based data to test success. So use the link down below for Unabated, 20% off. Promo code SPLASH on there. He's also using Stochastic. Jameson Williams, the smartest man in football. 15% off, link down below. All their data, all their sim stuff. Half the money you pay to Stochastic comes back to me. Big win-win there. Jameson Williams, most brilliant gambler in the world now. And then also, again, very strong, very handsome, according to coaches, very fast. He also can now use promo code SPLASH on DraftKings. That's how smart he is. He knows your money will carry you further in best ball. If you play at drafters.com or use that promo code SPLASH on the Drafters app, get a $100 deposit match, lots of ticket givebacks as well. Actually, my Drafters draft today is going to be free because I got a ticket from doing my 10th draft on there. So you get free ones at 10, 25, 50, 75. You end up getting like 10 free entries if you max out their big tournament and get 500K up top on there. So check out Drafters, Jameson Williams' favorite site. I think I could say that with full impunity. That genius, Jameson Williams. Oh boy. When he does his expected value calculations, he gets that right, buddy. He gets that right. JMO going after Hunter and Devontae Smith is wild. I agree. It doesn't make sense with what we know of the markets. Then the markets love Detroit. I don't know why. And JMO, we did that one already. Either Puka or Adams won't pay off, I feel like. Why? Like, what would be the logic? Would be what I would ask back. You saw a lot of target earning for both guys last year, and Puka Nacua went to another level in terms of his target earning. Like, if you're going to tell me one doesn't hit, I would guess the higher likelihood would be Adams not hitting. But to me, I still would strongly believe that you're going to have those guys hitting. I mean, I think the offense is going to be very good this year. And Kyron Williams is going to get paid an extension, looks like, too. So that's something where people like Jarquez Hunter, I would be a little cautious with that. So we got this Detroit bet. I like Calvin Ridley a lot. I think Calvin Ridley's got good upside. Addison would be our week 17 correlation for Detroit. If we want to go that way. But I think at this point, with 3 wide receivers, we're going for upside. I love Cam Ward. You guys know that. If you watch these streams, Calvin Ridley will be that guy. I'll put it out. Calvin Ridley is this year's Terry McLaurin. That's just it. Cam Ward's going to do enough Jaden Daniels-y stuff, is my opinion. And you're going to get that same bump up for Calvin Ridley that you got for Terry McLaurin last year. And now McLaurin's holding out in camp, going to get a new deal, it seems like. It seems like there's actually going to be a lot of acrimony to it. He'll get paid. He's just not showing up to go through the motions for it. Yeah, I think Calvin Ridley is going to get that glow up. I think he's going to be a great downfield target. I also think, frankly, hopefully they can run better in terms of deep targets than Terry McLaurin did last year. But I really think McLaurin, to me, not McLaurin, Ridley, to me, is going to be the guy that benefits the most from that situation. Jordan Addison came all the way back. This is fantastic. I'm so happy with this draft. I'm telling you, like, if I were to rename this video and I try to, do the 3 sites thing because nobody else does this, cheat code to fantasy football in 2025, Bijan and Bucky Irving. And then as long as those guys are healthy, just fucking spam receiver after that and you're good. Then you're also clear in the QB pocket. You get there before all the other fucking little bitches run to go get their QBs because they're terrified of it. I don't know. I love this team. So I think I mostly gave it a read there, but the team so far, Bucky Irving, Bijan Robinson, first 2 picks off the board. Devontae Adams, Tep McMillan, Jameson Williams, who again is the smartest, fastest, strongest man in football. And again, he gambles on drafters using the promo code SPLASH. Don't forget that. Calvin Ridley, Jordan Addison. So some week 17 correlation already going on here. Loving the team. Loving the team. Love picking in the 3-hole. 4-hole too, if it works out well enough. Great spots in a draft. If you can get yourself to the 3-hole in a room, you do that. Ward Ridley, my most owned QB wide receiver stack. I'm probably not far off from you. Is Cam Ward super underpriced if Calvin's that good? I think it's more that Cam Ward's good, but yeah, he's underpriced. I have way too much Cam Ward. I don't know my exact exposure. I'll look at an underdog in a different tab. Obviously, DraftKings, no way to do that, I think, on desktop, at least that I'm aware of. Ward overall for me across 32 drafts so far. And also a bunch of schnauzers I've going right now. I'm sure we'll end up with Cam Ward. Let me see. I've got 25% Cam Ward and BBM 26%. So yeah, I'm heavy Cam Ward. He's honestly, I got this a couple years in a row. I think and I did also take Bryce Young his rookie year, so that wasn't great. But like the rookie QB, I take for free, took Stroud for free. Obviously did prioritize AR as well that year. I think I'm good at rookie QBs. Last year got Bo Nix, right, as the kind of free guy you could take who'd have some upside. I think this year it's just Cam Ward. It's like he's the Stroud, he's the Bo Nix. He's too cheap. He's also a better runner than people realize. He needs to run more. In a perfect world, he doesn't run a lot. I think he wants to be a pocket passer. But that's it. Cam Ward, one of my favorite clicks. And again, the fact you take that late stack too, like Lockett's totally credible. Ayumanor, if you don't have Ridley, he's also credible as maybe a guy who takes over Ridley's role if Ridley somehow goes askew, gets injured, whatever. Or just frankly, they have a good offense and it works. And you can take shots at Restrepo too. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Big fan of that. All right, we got Jared Goff here for that easy little correlation. Done. Don't even have to think. You just take Bijan and Bucky. You don't even have to think in a draft. It all just falls naturally and easily in place. That's the beauty. All right. We need tight end, though. That's something to figure out coming up soon. Man, Tyler Warren holding on to a real juicy ADP on DraftKings here. Top 100 is fucking batshit. Warren's got to be 130. I mean, that's where he is on Underdog, so that's definitely a price that's locked in my head. 125, 120 even. 100 is so aggressive. Maybe I think he's going to be a PPR scam on DraftKings. I don't know. We got Jonnu Smith here, who doesn't correlate. Actually, no, would give us some Bucky Irving, bring back a little bit, though Jonnu is part of trade rumors right now. We also could take another RB, and I think this is a good time to do it. Cam Skattebo, come on down again. Last year's Bucky, this year's Bucky. Both on one team. I can live with it. So that's one click here. And that's it for a little bit here. So let me give the team a read one more time. Got to stick the landing at QB for sure still. We got Jared Goff, Bijan Ryan, tight end, Bijan Robinson, Bucky Irving, at receiver, Devontae Adams, Tet McMillan, Jameson Williams, Calvin Ridley, Jordan Addison. Added Cam Skattebo on as our third RB. Again, I like his potential, like the coach speak we're getting about him so far, like what he's saying. Skattebo's living up to what I wanted to see out of him after I was really reluctant to take him because I just didn't know he was going to get that landing spot that gave him a real shot at playing time. I think he's got it now. So Skattebo would be nice if you were also Bucky Irving cheap like he was last year. That'd be great. That's not where we're at, though. See DK exposures in the lineups tab? Okay. Let's see if I can do that. If I were to list the top 5 best ball players in the world, who would you rank 2nd through 5th? Wait, who are you saying is number 1 then? Are we saying that I would say I'm number 1? Because I don't think I'd say I'm number 1. I think Herzig could probably be number 1 in my opinion. I mean, there's probably people that I don't even know who are better than the guys I'm going to list, but out of people that are publicly facing, I guess, I'd say probably Crane I would give still number 2, though. I think his player takes are not as great as he thinks it is, to be totally honest. I think Pete would be up there. I think he's a very sharp drafter, even though he's not gotten the results of some other guys. Are you saying that you're number 1? I was answering this question earnestly. I think Liam's a good player, a good basketball player too. I'd put him up there. That's close enough, right? And where would I rank amongst those guys? I don't know. I mean, I think for me, it still comes down to like you got to have one of those really big wins to feel good about your claim to the throne. Frankly, there's a lot of guys who I don't even like in the Pizza Pots Game Discord, in that Hoops channel in there, and the Badge Bros stuff. Like, there's a lot of guys who are really good drafters in there too. A lot of them, I think they're better than they are, and like they sometimes do the thing where they'll write a guy off in absolutes in a way that I don't think is ever smart in best ball. But those guys are also, there's a ton of really good drafters in there too. Even Easy, who I don't like very much the dude. I think he's a very sharp guy. Not a great dude, but even that, whatever. I think people are not a great dude when they're needlessly toxic towards me. Doesn't make you not a great drafter. Yeah, I'll go probably not for the fantasy flock. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, he's had great success with it, but a lot of it too is rolling. I think the one thing that Liam's done that's the most intelligent is like using the money that he had to win to roll it towards a higher entry, higher dollar stuff. Because that point, I'm not gonna say it's easy to win in any format of best ball. It is a lot easier to win when you're in the DK 555, and you know what you're doing as a drafter. And you have that because you're just competing against a much smaller pool of people. Finals are infinitely smaller as well. Whereas like for you guys, for me to have that big payday, it's like you're in a 1,000 person final on DraftKings. You're in a 600 person final in Underdog. You're on drafters competing against everybody technically till week 17. I'm not going to play the high dollar stuff to that level. Like that's just not where I want my money to go. I'd rather put in another 10 schnauzers or some fucking bullshit this year. But again, Liam, I'd put in my top 5. I don't know. But I think, too, it's just like you overrate the person who actually had the winning results. Like, what if it wasn't Bill's bullshit that won that year? Does he do as well? Does that make him a bad player or a good drafter? I don't know how you would answer that. We're on the clock here. I think it could be a good time to add tight end, so I'm going to do that. Honestly, with Warren being this high ADP, I think he's now appropriately priced, or more than appropriately priced. He's going to come back to pick 118. So Tyler Warren, first click off the board here. Need to think about QB2 at some point, but we're not there yet. That is true. High dollar people do auto draft a lot. It's like, again, if you have the resource to do it, it wouldn't be fun to draft like one really expensive team as opposed to like, I don't know, 100 BBMs or something like that. But if you have the resource to do that and you let's say you won best ball, that's probably your best way to roll your best ball winnings forward, in my opinion. We got a discount on Ingram as well because of the fact that he's got a Q tag on him. So we're just going to do the thing where we soak up value here. Don't love my tight end room having none. So adding 2 in here feels pretty good. Team so far is a 1-3-5-2. We got Jared Goff, Bijan Robinson, Bucky Irving. Again, an RB could have added nothing on top of that, and I could live with it. Devontae Adams, Tet McMillan, Jameson Williams, Tyler Warren here making the team, Calvin Ridley, Jordan Addison, Cam Skattebo, Evan Ingram. So got good value on Warren, and I like Warren as a player. I just don't think the Colts are the spot for him. If Daniel Jones starts, maybe a little bit more so. And Warren was getting targeted a lot, apparently, in practice so far in OTAs. I don't know how much that matters. It's good to see he's with the first team already, and that kind of hodgepodge group of tight ends they have for Indianapolis. But for Warren, I hate the fit. Really hate having AR be not good. I mean, bums me out. After year one, he looked competent enough as an on-target thrower, and then that shoulder injury, and he just did not show it at all last year. But Daniel Jones, more accurate. Hopefully, you can get Warren there. Who knows? How did Portney and Big Cat's high stakes DK teams terribly? They donated. And they in particular donated to Herzig in that room, in that pod. But yeah, that was not well. Those guys, they did no prep. They didn't know what they were doing. So, that's how it goes. I mean, and that's what you also get in some of the high dollar stuff. In particular, I presume on DK, where you have people who have big money and they'll put teams in. They don't really know what they're doing. But yeah, that's why the higher dollar stuff, you take on more risk if you're a lower bankroll gambler. But if you're a higher bankroll gambler, that's probably the first thing you do. I mean, Leone only plays the high dollar stuff in DFS, and that's probably very intelligent on his part because he does well with it. Definitely a different play, though, than you'll see in your large field tournaments, though. They have a finals take Spags, OKC in 4. I think if it's the Pacers, I think they can steal a win or two because they do have pretty good volatility in 3-point shooting. Thunder should win, though, I think, safely no matter what. I mean, they're obviously the market favorite, too, so I'm not saying anything too brave. But I thought that from day one, they're just too well built. The team also fits what the modern NBA build is, where it's not 3 stars, really. I think the Knicks are, too, in some respects. The issue is Towns so great offensively, Brunson so great offensively, both guys negative defensively. They could not survive versus OKC if they somehow won this series. Pacers could potentially survive, and I think Miles Turner would probably have a good series. But they don't have the dogs. None of the dogs compete. That's it. AR jersey's not in the closet. It's over there. I moved the jerseys over here because the dog, because usually Kitty is sitting with me a lot of times now because I have to watch her a lot during the day when Alex is doing her meetings and stuff. She has external stuff, whereas I'm just doing streams and Kitty can just fucking sit here. I don't want her sitting on jerseys though. So my Jaden Daniels jersey that one of the guys got me last year, who I forget who got it, but shout out to the guy who got it. He knows who he is. He didn't want to be mentioned on stream anyway, so better for him that I forgot. I think Dave. But yeah, I have those jerseys over there. I just don't, you put them on. But frankly, I'm not even drafting AR really. I'm drafting AR if I'm dead at QB. And I'm well, we'll take the shot that he starts and that he just runs a lot because he's fighting for his career now. But yeah, I don't think he's going to win the job to start the year. I think Daniel Jones with his accuracy, unless AR made massive strides and it doesn't sound like it, I just think Jones is going to be too accurate. It's going to show in the practice field and he'll win the job. But AR will get in the field late, so he's just too expensive for a guy who's going to get in the field for potentially get in the field for week 15, 16, 17. So Cam Ward jersey in the future, I'll tell you what, I'll probably be drafting him enough that'd be justifiable. But he would be the one, yeah. I wish he ran more. Really do wish he ran more because he was a 0.9 EPA per run guy. He's exactly what I'm looking for on that stuff. We got Stafford here. Penix, it looks like, already went. Is that correct? Yeah, somebody took Penix. So when they take my Penix away, I get my staff instead. I'm going to get Matthew Stafford in here. We got Devontae Adams. We've got the Atlanta stack. So, or, Atlanta bring back with Bijan. So we're going to go. Certainly prefer Penix, but yeah, that's what it is. Another pick coming up here as well, and they'll give the team a read. The Penix is mightier than the sword. That's true. Yeah, really? 2 undervalued guys. Penix and Cam Ward. Ooh, put those guys together in a team. I think you're getting really cheap QB play that's probably going to have a lot of passing production. I think Cam Ward gives you the Stroud rookie year with a little bit of the Jaden on top. A little bit of the rushing stuff. Not enough to call him a running QB, but you'll get a little bit of that on top. So many tight ends at this point as value here. I already took 2. RB, not the most appealing, though I could do it. It's a 10-pick discount on Goddard. My tight ends aren't particularly good. I'm going to go Goddard too. Fuck it. So Dallas Goedert, our third tight end here at 2-3-5-3. I'm just not worried about RB with Bucky and Bijan, which, yeah, maybe is a flaw with me as a drafter. If one of these guys goes down, I'm be fucked. But if they go down, I'm probably fucked anyway. So Jared Goff, Bijan Robinson, Bucky Irving, Devontae Adams, Tet McMillan, Jameson Williams, Tyler Warren here we got for cheap, which I do like. Calvin Ridley, Jordan Addison, Cam Skattebo, Evan Ingram we got a little bit after ADP as well. Matthew Stafford had to take him for that QB2, and Dallas Goedert here. And then obviously we are still maybe live for another QB, but Cam Ward, I think maybe not in the cards this time out. We'll see. Would not be opposed to taking Cam Ward if he comes all the way back, but I'm not sold that he will. And I think Stafford, I got to take less Cam Ward sometimes. We'll get the benefit from Ridley if Cam Ward's good. Thank you, Jason. Nice looking team. I appreciate that. A Penix staph infection. You don't want that. Got a full Titan stack last week, and it just looks awesome. I mean, yeah, half the stack is free. So it's always a positive for a stack. Tennessee, not great Vegas totals, but I will say, and we talked about Vegas totals a little bit on the streams I did yesterday. Adam Levitan's got a tweet out there. I also put it in the Discord if you want to join the Discord and see some of the stuff. Really, whenever I have a football thought, I do try to drop it in there to try to add some value in. Basically, like, wouldn't hold the Vegas total things as gospel, especially for the teams that weren't good last year. Like the Jets are a bottom 5 team. Giants are a bottom 5 team. A lot of teams that are not very good are bottom 5. Tennessee, are perceived to be not very good. But so was Washington last year. Like Washington was a bottom 5 team in the week 1 through week 17 Vegas totals. And obviously they ended up scoring 35 a lot of weeks last year. They might have averaged over 25 on the year. And this year they're now projected to be, 25.2 points per game in Vegas totals. So it takes a year for Vegas to catch up. So like, don't fade a team because of that Vegas total stuff. Would be one thing I would say, even though it is informative, obviously, especially your veteran teams for sure. Anyway, this guy here, Penix to Ward in a row. Does he have any correlation with any of them? What's your bet? Penix looking like a no. Tua looking like a no. Ward looking like a no. 3 unstacked QBs in a row. That's what you get on DraftKings, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy. And his 3 RBs are Harvey, Connor, and Mason. Okay. That's certainly a team. I said it on the DraftKings stream yesterday on Stochastic. You're going to find, my estimate would be 2 to 4 people donating in any given DraftKings room. Just bad structure, bad understanding of ADPs and how to deploy them, all that. And obviously, look, I wanted Cam Ward back. I didn't need it here. That's why I took Stafford, because I thought he was at a more appropriate ADP at this point. But like, it's not the way to play best ball if you want to win money. Is really it. The team might work out okay enough and you somehow advance. I guess that's always possible. But with his RB room, probably not. It's just really important, I think, for best ball. And it's really like a thing of blowed people's ego for some reason, especially in 2025, where people feel like they could just be full-throatedly say the wrong thing. And there's no punishment really for being an idiot, not knowing what you're talking about. It really benefits you to know what you're doing before you spend $20 an entry or whatever. Or like for the guy I was talking about in Stochastic's comments, mentioned it more like than the Discord, but the guy was like, had drafted 140 teams already. And he was saying, oh yeah, like you don't ever want to take a wide receiver with a bad QB. And like gave me like a fucking 1,000 word thing that was full of the most incorrect football thoughts you've ever heard. And it's like, this guy has already spent an ungodly amount of money at the worst time to draft all of your teams. Like you want to have teams in August, July, because you know more information then. Just a bad scene for some people out there just to hop into the shit, have no clue what they're doing. We need more of everything at this point. I keep scrolling down. I'm going to go Braylon Allen here. I do like him as another RB who could take work away from Breece Hall, potentially in this new offense be a bell cow kind of caliber back. I don't know if he's going to get to quite that level, but I think he takes goal line work away. But at this point, just kind of need a 4th RB in. I'm okay kind of pushing receiver because we spent a good amount of receiver capital already, and I think there's nobody here who really stands out in a meaningful way here yet. We'll see if we get on the way back. Did a DK pick at 4 about an hour ago. Went Bijan, Drake, AJ Brown, Hampton. Devontae got sniped and Hurts, like your team as well. Oh, there you go. Yeah, look, that's a good team. You're building in a way that's not going to burn your money, which is really the goal. But the thing is, like, people don't want to hear it. And that's the part that like drives me insane. It's like, if somebody had told me that, because I built some shitty teams my first year doing drafts as well. Not the year I won 50 max. I think for the most part, I'd gotten things right. But like, the year before that, I put in like maybe 20 entries. And then, I was doing shows with Pete, and like, Pete would say like, I don't know, you probably don't want to take Mike Davis, and was right about it. And I was like, whatever. But I was playing so little volume, it didn't matter. But I learned a lot from that experience of being totally wrong about it and knew I had to go back to square one. I think there's a lot of people that just hop in and put in like fucking thousands of dollars, and like they have no clue what they're doing. They're going to get dusted. That's so bad. That's my thought. 105 got all the Jags RB points, which feels kind of sharp. I don't mind doing 2 out of the 3. As Jason says here, taking 2 Jags. I don't mind doing 2 out of the 3. 3 out of 3 I would do if I'm just doing something weird, because people won't often do that. It's hard for all 3 to hit, I think, this year. I think it's very easy for ATN and Bigsby to both hit. This guy's team as well. So who does he have besides them? He's got Roshan, Rashad White. That's a dog shit RB room. You can't get away with teams like this in 2025, I don't think, unless receiver scoring totally flips and like guys like AJ Brown, Wilson, Worthy, Sutton are all putting up 20 a game again, and like that's how it goes. It was not how it went last year, obviously. And he kept taking receiver. Like Egbuka adds nothing to this team, and you already went extreme 0 RB, so that's bad. Everything else I could live with. Like I like the Baker Mayfield, the Justin Fields parts, the Tampa Bay components. I do like. But you got to get RB earlier than that. And then you don't take AR too. You covered it at QB. 0 RB will never die. No, but there's, I think, better ways to do it than that. He should have hit QB, or he should have hit RB the moment. He got 5 guys in a row. Probably should have taken Montgomery here, would be my thought at the least. Caleb Johnson would have been fine as well. Walker, if he falls back here, great. Yeah, I don't know. Not the way I would do it. I say that as like the last guy who was doing extreme 0 RB builds on stream last year because, there was just, I thought, some utility in it. I don't think that was the way. You need an anchor more for pulling off the Jags room. That's it. If the Jags room, if you take all 3 Jags and it's like they're your RB 3, 4, 5, and you still have a 6 on there and the 1, 2 are pretty good, sure, like that can make sense. But I still think it's not. I don't think Tootin hits if both ATN and Bigsby hit. I think Tootin hits in particular if ATN doesn't hit. I think there's a world, frankly, where Bigsby could still win the backfield and be like the lead back. He was good last year, or relatively good. Not in the pass game, though. He will not win the pass game role no matter what. That I would make that guarantee. Wookie asking my thoughts on Justin Fields in best ball. I like him. I think he's a good click. I think Fields, people are now like talking themselves into worrying about Tyrod Taylor taking the job. I don't see how that's possible. You don't bring Fields in, pay him the money. You're going to go to Tyrod at some point. I guess if Fields is an abomination, maybe, but Fields is like a straight league average QB last year. Certainly did a lot to keep him from shooting himself in the foot, but so will the Jets this year. So I think it's all good for how I view Justin Fields at this point. I think it's all upside. They're going to run him a lot. I think that team is going to have basically a lot of touchdowns consolidated between Fields, Garrett Wilson, and the RB room. So to me, I think it's a good click. A Humanor here. Pop Douglas. Not great wide receiver spot. Noel might have been a fun click. I'll go Pat Bryant. Not a big Pat Bryant believer, but he does go in the 140s in rooms across best ball sites I've been in. On drafters, he's now up so high. I don't get why he's so high on there. Not crazy about Pat Bryant. I think he's like a middling prospect. I think Ty Felton's a much more intriguing one. A guy who graded out similarly, but actually had great RAS testing. But, he's been talked up a little bit, so we'll take the shot. And that was our 7th receiver. We got 4 RBs. Pat Freiermuth is still floating around, but we have 3 tight ends, so I don't think I need him. Pop Douglas could work for PPR. Jerome Ford could give us one more, probably, well, I'm going to go Jerome Ford here. I think there's a little bit of a tier break at RB where Ford's one guy will at least have a projection for it. Neal would make sense with the New Orleans stuff, but I think I want one more guy actually as projectable. Because Neal to me could put up zeros all year and it wouldn't be a shocker. Certainly, I don't think that's the most guaranteed outcome or anything. But for Ford, I know he'll get a shot to be in that mix. I do think he's going to bring things to the table that Sampson and Judkins don't have. So I'm still Jerome Ford. I think a good late click kind of guy. Let me give the team a read here because I could use that myself for the last 3 rounds we have coming up. At QB, we have Jared Goff, RB, Bucky, and Bijan, my killer Bs, a duo that I will get a lot. It's going to be a draft you see me probably do as long as that's available during the summer. And I'm in those spots. Devontae Adams for some week 17 correlation. Ted McMillan, he's also stacked up with Matthew Stafford in this team. Ted McMillan, Jameson Williams, Tyler Warren, Calvin Ridley, Jordan Addison. So a really strong top 5 at receiver, which made me go away from that position pretty strong for a while. Cam Skattebo, Evan Ingram as part of my run here on value. Matthew Stafford makes this team. Dallas Goedert, big value on him. Braylon Allen, Jalen McMillan, Pat Bryant, and Jerome Ford. I think the player I like the least out of this group is Pat Bryant, but he's at least was cheap here, so that's a positive. There we go. Also still like Ford, but he's probably better here than Underdog. That's fair. I mean, Ford's always had a nose for the end zone, but yeah, him being goal line back with Judkins there is probably not the most likely. Judkins is one of those guys, though. I don't know. I could see him being a bust, to be honest. He wasn't as good in college as he thinks he was. I think it's like always a little bit of a cognitive dissonance thing for me. Like he talks himself up so much, which is, part of the job. I don't think it's that great. Doesn't have as much juice as he thinks. Let's see. You got bags of Tootin, so rooting for him. You're rooting for Tootin. A lot of people are out there. I get it. I am not nearly as backed up on Tootin. I am much more taking Bigsby for free, much more taking ATN. But ATN really was awful last year. He was another guy under a 10% avoided tackle rate. Not quite Pacheco territory under 5, but not a lot of juice. Like Ford in Cleveland, if Flacco or the offense just pass everything it could afford to be. I think you're going to get some check down people leading the way there with Flacco and Pickett no matter what. Shador as well loves a good check down too. So I think he's got a bunch of outs. Dylan Gabriel, well, Oregon did do a lot of short stuff too. And Bo Nix, high check down guy in Denver this year, though that's probably scheme as much as anything. All right, we got, what's the build here? 2573. I feel like I have to scroll around so much on DraftKings. 2573. So more at receiver. Not a big Calvin Austin guy, but he's right now their dude is going to play a lot of slot. So Calvin Austin deepening the receiver room a little bit, not really caring about correlation too much at this point of things. I don't think I need a 4th tight end. But frankly, a 20-round draft, if I feel good at the other positions, 4 tight ends probably adds more value than something else does. And there are stack partners for Matthew Stafford here. Technically 2 tight ends we could take, but one I think I like more than the other. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. I wish these guys make their picks so we could just get to mine. That'd be the generous thing for them to do. But draft coming up after this one. Is there a chat here? Headed to beach and my connection's about to die as drafters coming up. Oh no, that's a bad scene. Well, at least shout out Mr. Poopy Butthole. Bong rips and go to the beach. You're living the dream. I'm not doing bong rips or going to the beach. I got neither of those things right now. All right, come on. Why are they slowing down so much? It's fucking round 19. Just click any name. You're good to go. Doesn't matter. All right, here we go. On the clock. Shouts to that guy. That guy was fast. I'm going to take Tyler Higbee here. I don't think I really need the 4th tight end, but I think he works well enough. Again, was a target monster last year when he was healthy and able to go. The coaches talked him up exponentially as Emo Cowboy, our guy Tyler in the chat, who does great work. The Fantasy Sanctuary, if you want to see some of his streams. 0.42 EPA per target, 38% target per out run last year. Only 11 routes per game overall, in the 3 games he played in the regular season, but that continued on to the playoffs too. He was a good play in there for as long as they last in the playoffs. So for Higbee, I'm just on board with him. Think he's a key part of what they're doing and more than the public seems to realize. Ferguson is a risk. Terrence Ferguson, the rookie they drafted, very high RAS testing for him. Great athlete, decent target earner as well in college, but I don't think he takes Higbee's job in year 1. I think Ferguson, if you're in Dynasty, lock him up. He's probably going to be a really good tight end in the football in the future. But Higbee here today, I think, is pretty strong. 4 tight ends, good way to be on DraftKings. Yeah, I think when you're not getting the elite in or even anybody who feels elite adjacent, like I don't feel great about Tyler Warren, like we talked about. Get him at pick 100, especially, but pick 120. He's part of now a poo-poo platter of guys we've got. Like 3 tight ends I could live with here. Warren, Ingram, Goddard, that's probably enough. But I feel good about my receiver room. I feel good enough about my RB room. It all just comes down to Bucky and Bijan being aces again. And if they're aces again, this team will continue to go. And if not, then the team will be fucked. And I can live with that outcome. Doing great here, No Cap Mac. Appreciate you asking. I'm good. It's Friday. Got one last draft in. No NBA, which has allowed me to do this up a little bit earlier. So shout out to the NBA. NBA, we are in our dying days. Still doing showdown streams, by the way, though, on the @SplashPlayBets channel. Monday to Friday, though, so not going to do one tomorrow. But in general, Monday to Friday. So hopefully we get one more for Knicks Pacers. If the Knicks can extend this one more game, I think more likely the Knicks go down in game 6 and we get our Pacers Thunder starting up on Thursday. But we will see how that looks. Kenny Pickett ass team. I don't think so. I'm cool with Goff and Stafford. The quarterbacks of Lions past and future, Lions and Rams past and future. Their futures inextricably intertwined. I don't take much Milrow. I got to say, that's something that's a little bit of a blind spot for me as well. Because I think Stafford's going to start most of that year. And I think the team's not going to be far enough out of the playoffs that you are guaranteed to get Milrow later on. Drafted the winner of the $2 mini on Drafters at lunch. There you go. I actually have not done the $2 on Drafters. I only do the big one on here on stream for the most part right now. But I'm probably not going to get the $2. So yeah, that's all yours, No Cat Mac. You win that as much as you want. Thank you. Thank you for defending me, Mr. Poopy Butthole. Rock is fucking out, and I'm fucking in. I need Chunk to declare that, or umpire to declare me that I'm in fact in. Yeah, it doesn't feel great to have two non-mobile QBs in the current landscape. But the team is so strong besides that. Like, I feel really good. Feel good about the RB components. Feel good about the receiver components. QB, what could I have done differently to give me more upside there? All right, I got 4 picks left. Could have taken... Goff had to be one of the clicks. Getting Ward would have helped. Getting Ward here and that guy not taking 3 in a row for no fucking reason, that would have helped. If Ward were part of a 3 QB room, I think I'd be like, cool, perfect. But we couldn't get Ward on the way back. Take Flacco. I don't think there's enough of a guarantee there for a starter. I just don't think it's worth the roster spot. I would frankly, this might be my first Daniel Jones team if this guy... Get the fuck out of here. Come on, man. How? I don't even know at this point. Who fucking cares? I'll take Taj Brooks. We talked Taj Brooks before. That's... I fucking knew it when I said it. I knew that guy was going to take Daniel Jones. I think it's the one time Daniel Jones made sense because we took Tyler Warren. We're making a bet on an accurate QB getting the ball. It's got to be Daniel Jones. I think it would have worked here, but no Daniel Jones for us. That's fine because I don't think Daniel Jones starts in the playoffs anyway, the fantasy playoffs. We got Jared Goff, Bijan Robinson, Bucky Irving. Drafters coming up next. So if you want to get over there now, you probably can. Actually, I'll enter the room now so we don't have to wait quite as long. Because that's probably smart by me as a content creator. So I'm entering the Drafters room. We'll finish reading the DraftKings team too. But Drafters room right now, drafters.com, promo code SPLASH. You guys know the deal. Getting in here now, $20 entry fee, blah, blah, blah. So many spots left. 6 spots left. You guys want to go on Drafters. All right, so the team here. Start from the top. Goff, Bijan, Bucky. Get RB room, great. Jared Goff at QB, feeling good. If we had the 3rd QB, I'd feel better about it. Devontae Adams, Tet McMillan, Jameson Williams, who is, again, the fastest, strongest, smartest man who's ever played football. Great at gambling as well. Tyler Warren got him in a nice value on DraftKings where he goes way too highly. Calvin Ridley, Jordan Addison, Cam Skattebo, part of this RB room that didn't need a whole lot of depth behind the top 2. Evan Ingram, Matthew Stafford, Dallas Goedert, Braylon Allen, Jalen McMillan, Pat Bryant, Jerome Ford, Calvin Austin, Tyler Higbee, Taj Brooks, my last pick here. Maybe could have taken Aaron Rodgers instead, but I'm still not sold that happens. It feels like it's going to happen, but it's not fucking happening, so I don't know. Daniel Jones would have made that team make sense. Aaron Rodgers would have worked with Calvin Austin. I forgot I had him on the team, to be honest. That's how that looks. 2 spots left on Drafters. Let's get this going, guys. And this is the last stage in our journey. So Let's go. All 3 platforms. That's what we do on Fridays on this channel. And show some love if you can, guys. Please do subscribe down below. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. It all goes a long way for me here. I'm also still fighting off the same 3 guys who downvote every video because they're butthurt over fucking Twitter, which fucking strangle me. I'm just here to do my gambling. And give you guys the best takes I possibly can. And I do it as well as I can, as frequently as I possibly can in a given week. So show some love. Subscribe down below. Hit the notification bell as well, because I do start at random times. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. And also make sure to join the Discord as well if you want to know when I'm about to do a draft. I mentioned that there were 4 spots left on the BBM draft right before I did the stream. That's what I do for the members on there as well. So join for $5. If you want the higher tier, you get my rankings as well with a bunch of blurbs for players. I have to grind in on that more now that NBA season's winding down, but I have them right now for Underdog. Those are good to go. I will have them soon for DraftKings and Drafters. I broke the sheet and I haven't had time to dig back in and fix it. That's what you get on the Discord. Just $5 to hang out with some cool bros and jerk each other off. Or you can join one of the higher tiers, get access to the Discord, and also get my rankings and support the show even more, which is what we all want to do. Anyway, free ticket draft for me here today. So that's nice. My 11th draft of the year. When you do 10, you get 1 more for free. Drafters will absolutely have some bonuses going as the year goes on as well. So even if you missed this draft, get in there, drafters.com, promo code SPLASH at drafters.com. All right. We got Short Gamer in here. Gabe Davis in here. Mr. Poopy Butthole made it despite going to the beach. Braden in here. Danica Patrick in here. One of our biggest fans. I feel like I know AL season, but maybe not. Do you enjoy the avatar, though? Great meme. Drewski makes me laugh. Feel like probably problematic in a way that I don't know. But I enjoy his comedy. The dating show is weird. Did see parts of that. Thank you, Jason. We appreciate your love of gambling. Look, this is my last big on-stream run in best ball gambling. If I don't have a huge win this year, you're probably going to see me do a little bit less best ball next year. But enjoy the run while you can, guys. Well, I'll enjoy it as much as I can as well. But honestly, I'm having a lot of fun drafting again. It took a little bit of time for me. Again, the Twitter dudes being weirdos certainly made me not feel good about it, threatening violence on me again. And to be clear for you guys out there, if you didn't follow that saga, number one, I never doxed anybody. You mentioned somebody's name in town they publicly put on Twitter. It's not fucking doxing and what it is. Number 2 is that it's the 3rd time in a year that somebody's threatened me with violence or threatened to come to my house literally. And it's been an Underdog person from stream. So I'm going in. I'm now having fun again doing this, which is like my main focus. And hopefully shines through in the content more. Frankly, the draft we did yesterday, I had a lot of fun doing that. I just like that I can do things that make me feel more creatively satisfied on stream now. And I can talk about things the way I want to without feeling like I'm going to lose fucking money for it. So that's what I'm trying to get for myself here. I think it's true of anything in life. And for you guys that are younger out there, you got to find your joy in most things. And it can be hard to do that when you're in the weeds, in a regular cycle. When you have certain obligations too, it can be hard to do that. Gibbs at 70 for Mr. Poopy Butthole. That's pretty fun. But yeah, that's for me, I really did feel like, not some loser, three different losers over the course of last year. I just didn't make a big stink about the first 2 because I'm like, I guess it's just part of the fucking job. But that was why the last one to set me off. I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. And I should have made that point earlier on. Should have also made clear that this guy did literally threaten to come to Philly and fucking attack me, which is fucking insane. You can't be a Twitter nice guy and threaten to come to people's house and attack them. I just strongly believe that. But anyway, that's been my year. It's just dealing with fucking idiots, and I don't want to. Dealing with negotiating with Underdog was awful too. Fucking no respect in that process. Finally got the deal I wanted, and then had to deal with this stuff as a fallout. But the gambling is bringing me back. So yeah, that's what it is. Still enjoy gambling. Still enjoy best ball drafts. But you got to find your joy. You got to find your joy in anything, even if it's work. But Justin Jefferson at pick 5, that's joy. Jahmyr Gibbs at pick 7, probably also joy. People are the worst. People are strange. That's two similar but different things, but I agree. Sort of for the birds, quite literally, much more peaceful without. Yeah, I still have to be on there for news and stuff. But if people mention me, I'm still going to see it, but I'm just not replying anymore. Even if it's nice, I do want to reply to people. I've always, you guys know, if you leave a comment on the videos, I always like to reply because, if there's another human being on the other side and they're engaging with my content and watching something and, got value out of it, or they just want to volley something back, I'm always happy to talk to people about it. But it's I've just noticed the tenor of things. Everybody's so fucking toxic on Twitter. And honestly, some of the YouTube comments too. That guy on the DraftKings Stochastic stream yesterday was such an asshole for no fucking reason. I'm I don't know. I'm cool having a two-way exchange with people who I feel like deserve a two-way exchange. But if they don't, like, I'm just going to keep it one way as sort of how I view it. And then whoever wants to watch can, more power to you, but I'm just going to do my shit. Jefferson here. We got Bowers coming all the way back. 4 picks after ADP. Let's do that. Jefferson and Bowers, first 2 off the board, 2 elite players, hopefully 2 of the best at their position. I feel okay about that start. Seems like human interactions are a coin flip these days. Also true. And I strongly believe, too, that if you run into assholes all day thing, you're probably the asshole. The thing is, like, I don't run into assholes all day. I run into assholes when I, like, go outside the people I actually want to talk to. Like, and outside normal life, I don't see many assholes, really. Everybody I talk to over the course of a day or, like, going out and stuff, always nice, too. So it's just, like, these online interactions, and it's like, why? I don't know. Like, why do you need it? I don't feel like I do. I need it for myself, probably to promote myself better. But who cares? Like, if I make enough money off this stuff, I just don't want to care about it personally. But I appreciate the kind words. I'm the great here. Appreciate this one from Big Z as well. Always happy to have you in the space. Followed for years now, and you've proven over and over again you have great takes and opinions. Enjoy watching the streams for a good laugh too. Thank you, Big Z. I really appreciate that. And I think that's honestly the work I put in. I feel like most people would feel that way if they actually were open-minded and weren't like being weirdly fucking toxic. But that's just the space right now. So that is what it is. It goes in ebbs and flows. But, you know, I'm trying to get more comfortable in my own skin with the stuff. Like, it's all a process of work, you know, for any of us human beings. But I think as a content creator, too, I've just never enjoyed that style of content where people are just like, the bit is being mean to you. Like, I don't know. Like, the bit of me being mean to people, but, like, hamming it up. I always thought that was funny, but apparently it's not funny now. So, yeah, we'll do lots of that. Oh, boy, what are we going to do? Braden's going to take my sweet boy. Oh, I'd love to get Bucky back, but he doesn't need him. He doesn't. Oh, he didn't do it. Yay, Braden. You got your RBs. You're good. This is a fucking fantastic draft. I'm talking about all this stuff, and I got Jefferson, Bowers, and Bucky. Woo. This is what happens when you open yourself up to the universe, right? I had a great draft yesterday, too. The blunt draft I did yesterday. First of all, I moved that immediately to the Splash Play Classic streams, so check that one out on the playlist if you want to. But I built an amazing team on DraftKings yesterday. Really thought that was one of the best teams I've built on stream in a minute. Now this start here, we're going to have to dig out at receiver, add some more value on top. But I love this start for drafters, getting elite wide receiver, elite RB, elite tight end. Man, this is great. Yeah, it worked out well with Braden. Yeah, why do you want Rice if Bucky is there? Yeah. I want Bucky real bad. But I think for you it worked out too because you got Barkley and Taylor. So Braden's doing the thing we just talked about. And I said it on DraftKings for Bucky and Bijan, but it's true here on Drafters. The ADP's in line well enough where these guys with Bijan and Jacobs, Braden here with Barkley and Taylor, he'll be able to go on a nice receiver run because the ADPs are going to line pretty well for him to hit receiver for like 4 or 5 rounds in a row. So I think the same thing we talked about here, even though my preference would certainly be to get Bucky and Bijan into that group. You do the same thing with Saquon and Taylor, same thing with any of those combos. They're all going to feel pretty good, I think. So really this spot here, if you're not getting Jamar Chase, I would certainly go 2 RBs to start and then just grab your receivers after. Grab a bunch. Run 4 to 7, good receiver pocket. Yeah, and I think especially over here, it just feels like a fully fleshed out team, at least from my read on it. Oh, the good people outweigh the toxic ones. Love you since the first time I heard the air yard stat. Also, thank you. That is a long time ago. I have evolved. Air yard's still part of my process, though. And frankly, pretty important revelation from my college data this year was that one of the things that and I mentioned this on some of the streams too, but it surprised me that it was pretty uniform going through the last couple of years. All the guys who had more air yards than they had actualized yards in college football tended to underperform heading into the pros. And again, it's not a perfect stat. I'm not sure it's going to be true always. In fact, I would strongly believe it won't be true always. But it does intuitively make sense that, oh, yeah, this guy got fed a ton of opportunities, so he got some of that opportunity. The guys who really do well, though, are the guys who got less air yards than their actualized yards. That's where you're more in that Malik Neighbors range, that Brian Thomas range, guys who end up being, world beaters. So, I don't know. I feel pretty strongly about air yards being a part of the process, but the EPA stuff now, I think it's been really a game changer for me and how I view things. We got DJ Moore here, Devontae. I feel like we're not setting up. I just fucking love J-Mo, man. Hard to not soak up the DJ Moore value. But I'm going to take the DJ Moore value. I think at this point, we're building a team that's pretty unique. We've soaked up some nice value. This room of some regulars, some randos has given me a nice combo of things. So I'm just going to take DJ Moore. But we don't need the week 17 correlation with JMO, so maybe here I could let him go, let him slide. It's not that deep. More air yards than actual means the fucker can't catch, at least it's brain. Well, it's not entirely true because, like, you could have the Jameis Winston year where, like, he was creating 300 air yards a game for some receivers like Rashad Perriman, Mike Evans. After Evans got hurt, it was like Justin Watson out there getting 250 air yards a game. And it's basically because, like, he's taking 50-yard shots to you. So if you convert that 50-yard shot, great. But the bigger thing is, like, you get 100 yards thrown to you and you turn that to 500. You know, well, you're not going to do that. You turn it to 150. It's like, oh, this guy really exceeded expectations there. He got the ball. He then did something after the catch as well. So, like, guys that fit that criteria this year would be, you know, I think Tyler Warren was one of them. At tight end, at receiver. I don't know if Tet was. I'll look up the sheet once I make my pick here. We got Metcalf. Can solidify the RB room with Mixon. Don't think Hurts makes sense for us at this point with the room we have. I have been talking about liking Zay Flowers. I do think he's in the midst of another rising tide in year 3 for himself. So I am going to go Zay Flowers here. It's tempting to take Mixon and just get another bell cow, but I think we took Bucky early. We're going to try, and we have the deviation for Bowers. Got to make the receiver room a little bit better. So a Bucky Irving, Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers start. Brock Bowers on top. Flowers and Bowers. What a winning duo here. Really liking that team. Really liking that team. Our receivers this year who have more yards than air yards. So Ted McMillan got 150 air yards, 110 actual yards. That's such a crush of volume. I wouldn't hold it against him, but, you know, maybe a little bit of a risk. Jalen Royals, 107 air yards a game, 120 actualized yards. Again, I love Jalen Royals. That's only one of the reasons why. Trey Harris, 113 a game, air yards, 127 actual yards. Travis Hunter, 104 and 97. If it's close enough, I would also say that's probably mostly a good sign for the receiver. Ayumanor was really bad. 137 air yards a game, only 69 actual yards. So not great QB play. He was also inefficient. Don't love that. Ty Felton, 140 air yards a game, 93 actualized. Restrepo, 92 air yards a game, 94 real yards. That's positive. Jaden Higgins, 130 actual, 91 real. It's not to say these guys will be busts or anything, but it's more that it'll be a little bit harder to expect them to make a leap of value right away. Whereas a guy like Trey Harris, I think if he gets 70 air yards a game for Justin Herbert, he might turn that into 85 yards. So, like, that's how I view it. It's not a perfect science, but I thought it was an interesting data point, and that's what I mentioned here. As best I possibly can. But guys, if you get value out of air yards or whatever I say in general, please do make sure to subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. Of course, all goes a long way for me here. Just one guy trying to fight off the YouTube algorithm and whatever random weirdos want to hate me in a given week. All I do is try to be the best me I can in a given day. And the perfect me is me, much as the perfect you is you, guys. As Lulu is a rhinoceros, say an Apple TV show. So I talked about it at length yesterday. That's what Alex is doing in New York. She had to go to the premiere of that because she's working with them on their strategy team. Yeah, basically for you guys out there, I feel like you get value out of this content, you'll probably get value out of everything else I do here on stream, which is mostly come on here, gamble, catch up on football. My goal is to put out a new piece of content where I'm going to do a 10-minute video in the mornings catching up on my football takes based on the news items that are out there. I don't know when I'm going to roll that out. Probably post NBA season will be my guess. But I would keep your eyes peeled for that because it's another thing I'll be trying to do sooner than later. We got Juwan Jennings here, who I love. Addison here, who I like, but that would be the Minnesota double, which would feel pretty good. The thing is, we want to make that big Minnesota bet. I really think Jennings is a great click. It's hard for me to not click him. I'm going to go Jennings. Addison, too. I still think there's a price drop coming for him because of the 1 to 4 game suspension he's going to get for the DUI he got in Southern California. So I like Addison here. I think the Minnesota double will work. I like the way this team's coming together, though, and I don't want this team to be relying fully on the arm of JJ McCarthy. I'd like McCarthy, but I feel strongly here that I want to have the team be a little more balanced. I think this team is crushing right now. So the team so far, Bucky, Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, Juwan Jennings, and then Brock Bowers, our elite tight end. Very happy at the start. Ooh-wee, I'm doing some weird shit in this draft. Yes, Mr. Poopy Butthole started with, what, 3 RBs in a row? Yeah, 3 RBs in a row. Jaden Daniels, he's now hitting his receivers. You got the Debo stack. That's a positive. You got Metcalf as a nice value. So you're doing the best you can. Definitely hard to make the deviation at receiver for 4 straight rounds. You probably have to go receiver for 5, 6 rounds in a row to make up for it. But, we'll see what Mr. Poopy Butthole does along the way. What do I make of the Johnny trade rumors? Weird. But so basically, I found it weird when I didn't see the other half of it, because right before the show, the alert came out, but then I didn't see the Dolphins part of it, that he wanted more money from him. Seems like he wants to stay with the Dolphins. Dolphins don't want to pay him more. A lot of money tied up. If I had to guess, they're going to reach a compromise, and they will get to somewhere that makes sense, because the Dolphins have nothing behind him at tight end that would feel like a good click overall, for both us as fantasy players or for them as like a team. So I think they'll figure it out. He was too good for him last year, but this is how the negotiation stuff goes. So kind of is what it is. I think, and again, a drafter's quest, trying to build more balanced teams here. I do like the Pearsall value. I think that's a nice discount. And we can do the Niners double again. DeAndre Swift would be a pretty good click as well. I feel strongly about him. The Pearsall, the Niners think's too good. Getting the Niners offense this year on the year of their defense should be worse. Where Brock Purdy got big paid, where we're consolidating some targets a little bit by getting rid of Debo. And Ayuk is still banged up. I think a Jennings Pearsall here feels pretty good. So Jefferson, Moore, Flowers, Jennings, Pearsall. If receiver matters this year, like we're back to a world where receivers are putting up 20 points again, I think this team is going to be a loaded one. RB is going to be tougher, though. We're going to have to make it up at RB. But I really, really love this wide receiver room. And getting Purdy obviously would be the goal here too, but we'll see what we get in this room. Glad I got Mixon. Yeah, getting Mixon, certainly. Always a good little fulcrum here. Guess Trader Joe is Mongoose right after me. Yeah, Mixon is a hero RB. I have no issue with, or I guess for you have Genty as well. Yeah, it's a good top two. It's a good top two. And look, your receiver room is as good as mine, but you've got some good guys. Thought about Ricky, decided to do the Detroit stack instead, which is fair. Hard to pass with the Detroit stack, get some guaranteed points. Total points especially, I feel like a Goff stack with two of the guys, with J-Mo and Laporta. It's a nice one to have. It's weird. Makes me feel a little bit vulnerable, I think, in that DraftKings team, having Goff and J-Mo as one of my driving forces. But on drafters, I do feel like that's a pretty steady, 15 points a week will keep you alive. If you got a QB2, can spike a little bit more, that'd be even better. But J-Mo is really one of the loudest. I think he's got to be, in my opinion, the loudest drumbeat player in the entire NFL. In terms of coaches talking about him, talking him up at every turn. And then, obviously turning into a bit here about him being the fastest, the strongest, the smartest. But they really have talked about him in a way that they're really, I would say, almost negative on him for a couple of years. And then now they're completely flipped. A bunch of receivers and QBs here. But definitely some RBs we can take if we want to go that way. We've got flexibility. Probably not tight end yet, I think, no matter what, unless there's a screaming value, which there most likely will not be. And then, okay. Josh Downs. I was hoping to get Brian Robinson. I would have liked that click a good amount. Guy who had 3 red zone rushes a game last year, and that situation hasn't changed for Washington. But I'll go Jaylen Warren here. Think that he gives us a little bit more behind Bucky. I do pair, when I do the Bijan Bucky thing, Warren being my RB3. It's either him or Skattebo a good amount. I feel okay about those clicks. It's kind of guys where, let's say Bucky has a shitty week, Bijan has a shitty week. I think Warren's kind of your ideal guy, is going to give you probably in most weeks 8 to 10 points with the PPR usage you'll have, would be my guess. So I like Warren a lot, and you have an elite RB, maybe 2. Warren's then your third back or your second. He's one of those guys for me. Probably one of those guys for me for a few years, but he is definitely this year. Bo Nix goes at 94. No, I pointed that out, but it did happen. You can see it with your eyes. You can confirm. Mahomes and Baker Mayfield just floating here. I mean, Baker I could take with Bucky Irving, but probably not the way I'm going to go. And it also makes me feel like, should I punt Purdy all the way back to 116? Because you're talking about a 20-pick discount right now on Mahomes. But somebody's got Ayuk, though, so that's the risk. Yeah, Short Gamer's got Ayuk. He would probably take Purdy at 107 or 110. So I got to take Purdy at 101. That sucks. This is why, by the way, though, like why Short Gamer's a good gambler. Because what's going to happen is like he definitely wants to get Baker all the way back. Because he's got Evans and Godwin. Nobody's going to really take Baker without one of those guys at the very least. At least in a sharp room. But then if he doesn't get them, he would have Purdy with his Ayuk stack, which is a very smart way to do it. He's going to get a huge value on Baker coming up. But I'm going to go Purdy here. Yeah, we got the Niners double. Just makes too much sense. So QB Brock Purdy got paid huge money at QB. He's got to be the highest paid Mr. Irrelevant in an NFL draft ever, I would think. Here's a risk there's going to be a run, that as well. But I think Short Gamer, one of the best, one of the sharpest guys. I talk up Nolan in our chat a lot, but Short Gamer as well has made a ton of money. He's won Millie Makers, I believe, in DFS. And then also very good at best ball. So if you see somebody who does sharp things like that, tends to be good to keep an eye on them, especially if you are trying to learn best ball at a higher level, as much as one can. That's true. I could have done the Twitter thing and victory lap my Baker snipe. Yes, the what's the guy's name? Sean or something on Twitter tweeted a thing about how he was like, I saved the. I would like to get the exact quote because I think it's worth it. Let's see. Yeah, so Sean Mitchell on Twitter, S Mitchell 17 is the guy, and he's been nice to me. I think for the most part, I unfollowed him at some point because I just don't. I really don't care about these guys' opinions when they're in this these hive minds of dumb things. But just Snipe Burrow at 71 is his quote after taking. Should I pull up the tweet on screen? That might be the better content thing to do. Hopefully he doesn't have a ton of. He probably's got a fucking ton of tweets. I don't have to look through now. Oh, I hate this. I hate the visual element of having to do a show. I should be able just to read it aloud. Oh, here it goes. It's always like they got their streams. Yeah, sure the streams are killing it. I've never seen his content. They might be great. I don't know. Where is this shit? Oh my god, how many fucking tweets? Jeez. Here we go. Here's the tweet. Thank God. I just Snipe Burrow at 71 after taking Hurts at 50 to break up a Cincinnati mega of Brown Chase T. And although I feel liberated in the feet, I am sure bro who got sniped is literally driving to the Golden Gate Bridge as we speak. At least reflecting on the fact that the guy might kill himself. That's good. But it's like to be so proud of it is so fucking cringe. I don't know, man. Nice guy though. Okay, well, he's okay. He didn't notice immediately when I unfollowed him and then unfollowed me. So I don't really have an opinion either way, but whatever. Caleb Williams goes. Would have been nice to get him back. Did not get him back. Where's fucking McCarthy go here? I might still be on the McCarthy train, unfortunately, on a necessity. We need more RBs, though. This feels like an okay RB pocket. Again, I'm taking a good amount of Skattebo at this point. I'll get some inverse of the bet there and take Tyrone Tracy. As I talked about, I think they both have a world where they could hit. I think, frankly, you could take Skattebo and Tracy. Obviously, the way they both really hit would be one of them winning the backfield and being the lead back. But, you know, it's not the most likely. You know the deal, Short Gamer. I've appreciated you. Short Gamer's been a supporter of the channel for a while, so you are very good at what you do. It's hard not to notice it. Just let them have the stack. Who cares? That's the thing, too. It's like, yeah, are you preventing every team that's getting this overnight? Are you doing the drafts when people are drunk at fucking 3 a.m.? It's like you're not going to be able to stop that. So why do it here? And also, why cost yourself money to do it? It's not smart. But also a lot of these guys too. And I don't know the Sean Mitchell guy well enough. Hartman's a nice guy in the chat, so I take his word. And if I'm trying to be mean to your friend, but like I think Sean Mitchell's one of the guys that like is playing lower stake stuff. So maybe if you're playing $3, you're okay burning that money for the fucking community or whatever. But if you're playing a BBM or you're playing a DK Millie, or you're playing the Drafters Million, to do that is so stupid. You're just wasting your money for no reason. I don't know. That's how I feel about it, but people are going to do what they're going to do. Can't stop people from making minus EV decisions is really the main thing I try to remind myself more often than I probably should have to. That's how I feel about that. We got Bucky, Jalen Warren, Tyrone Tracy here. Javonte is going to fall ass backwards in that Cowboys job. It's starting to feel like more and more by the day. Um, I like Tajay more. I like ATN more. This is a tough spot. I'm going to go ATN. I'm going to go ATN. I like Tajay a lot. I think that the upside's a little bit lower for him than it is for ATN. I think there's a world where ATN wins this backfield somehow and is back to his old self. Nothing he did analytically last year should make you believe that. That's the bet I'm going to take here, at least for now. We got Brock Purdy, Bucky Irving, Jalen Warren, Tyrone Tracy, Travis Etienne, receiver Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, our Niners stack. I feel really good about this. This to me is not quite zero RB room, but as close as you can get to it with that one deviation for Bucky Irving and it's 2 for Brock Bowers. Frankly, the fact that I made deviations for Bucky and Bowers and still got that receiver room, really happy with that outcome. That's a nice room. A lot better than my rooms have been lately. Someone always has to pay the rake. Yep, that is a lesson here to tattoo on everybody's eyelids, ideally. Showgamer could have tried to push Baker to 110, but read his opponent taking QB. Sharp to grab just at 107. Yeah, that's, again, watch good drafters, do good stuff, and that'll happen sometimes. Especially when they're not streaming teams. That's where good drafts go to die. Mr. Poopy Butthole in here. Oh, there we go. Mr. Poopy Butthole being social, as always. We love to see it. Burn the draft down. Oh, hate to see that. That's how I felt when Caleb Williams got taken, but it's fine. Ugh. Sooner we all make peace with the fact she's gonna get sniped to death. Sometimes by people who are smart, sometimes by people who have no business doing a draft. It's better off we'll be. But hopefully none of these little silly boys take JJ McCarthy, because then we're going to be in backdoor stack hell. And I'll figure it out, but I'd really prefer not to, is how I feel about that. So let's see. 2 spots left. Gabe Davis is for Poopy Butthole. Likely not. Mongoose has sniped us once. He hopefully won't do it again. He's in the chat. So I would hope he's gotten his taste for blood out of the way by taking Caleb Williams. And he has Odunze too, so obviously that makes sense. He does have Hawkinson, so you don't need the 3rd QB, Mongoose. You only need 2. 2's good enough. JJ McCarthy's not going to make your team win, but maybe Garendo Tucker Kraft will. People love 3 QB builds, though. So I will not be shocked if I get sniped again. Gino is still live, too. And that would be my 3rd QB, potentially, if I had to go that way. Gino, backdoor Cam Ward there. And Mongoose does the clever thing. He's got 2 good QBs. Now I have 1 good QB and a half. I've got Brock Purdy and JJ McCarthy here. We got Justin Jefferson. My bet's a little bit stronger. So I appreciate you, Mongoose. I forget your chat name on YouTube. It always confuses me when you guys have different names. But there we go. So the team so far, Purdy, McCarthy, Bucky Irving, Jalen Warren, Tyrone Tracy, Travis Etienne. So 2 ambiguous, really 3 ambiguous backfield bets that come with some risk. Bucky, though, we know what we're going to get there. Jefferson, Moore, Flowers, Jennings, Pearsall, Bowers. Receiver room still pops. Why unstacked Goff? Poor Braden. Poor Braden. You think I need to get more RB firepower in? Wide receiver, I can just kind of take more on top whenever I need to. Tight end 2 would be nice, but really nothing correlating in a way that I'm going to need coming up. There you go. Trader Joe, that's it. Trader Joe's our guy Mongoose. Team effort here. Community developing as we speak on drafters. But that's also what happens in sharp room teams for the sharp rooms too. For the most part, people do stay out of the way a little bit more, and that's always a positive in my opinion. Tough pocket here. Braylon Allen's not coming back to me, and I do think there's a tier break with him. I'm going to add him in as RB5. This is where, unfortunately, not having that first RB, it's like if you gave me with Bucky here, if I'd taken Gibbs and then had Bowers and Irving, this team would still play because I would have I'd still get Moore, still get Flowers, still get Jennings, still get Pearsall, would then take another receiver here instead. You really can get away very easily with 2 RBs in this pocket. Like 2 RBs and an elite tight end, I still would have felt good about that receiver room. Yeah, if you're not getting Chase, man, just fucking take RB here. Like, I like Jefferson as well, but like, let's just make this the RB pocket. Let's make it easy to get Bijan, Barkley, fucking Gibbs. Probably not Genty. Put the 3 RBs here. Take 2 RBs in a row. Hit a bunch of receivers in a row. It's a nice build. It's a nice build. Meanwhile, over here, this guy's just going nuts. Bunch of RBs. Hate Chuba Hubbard's price tag, even at 60. I think Rico Dowdle, incorrectly priced. Chuba, incorrectly priced. Frankly, Trevor Etienne for that team, also incorrectly priced. Michael Penix going 156 here. That's a good pick by that guy. Hey, we're at the tail end of the drafts here, guys, so I'll do some plug-in. Please show some love if you can. Subscribe down below with the like button. Leave a comment. Again, I'm just showing you guys my gambling on here, and I do think, too, I'm very committed to making sure I'm giving you actual draft EV because I'm doing a ton of volume lately, and that's going to be the way it's going because I'm hitting my stride. So hit the like button, subscribe. Again, I'm doing drafts here definitely every Friday. I'll be doing the every platform on Friday thing. Going to play with stuff a little bit more. Probably Thursday is going to continue to be the smoking a joint and doing a stream day. So check that out. I have my DraftKings drafts on Stochastic Tuesdays and Thursdays. And besides that, I have to figure some stuff out because like the Tuesday window is not really getting me a ton of views. Might have to flip that around. I want to do night drafts too. I see people making a lot of views at night because they're just hanging out doing the same kind of drafts I do there. I just don't have it in me to do night content, but I would like to. Who knows? Spags, I think I'm drafting the winning hound. Started Nico, Genty, Evans, Worthy, Waddle, and Hurts. It's a nice start. Unstacked Hurts. Always a little bit. I honestly, I don't know how to handle unstacked Hurts. Not the same as unstacked Burrow, for sure. But it's tough to not have one of those receivers with them. With him, rather. We got Bryce Young here if we wanted to add a third QB and get weird with it, but that's probably not the move. Josh Palmer makes every receiver room better. That is my plug for him. That would be the slogan I would give him. I'll go Josh Palmer. Oh, it's round 6 Hurts. Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Why would the Brown and Devontae and even Saquon drafters pass him up that many times? That's baffling to me. Drafts after dark. The issue for me is usually at night. It's like my smoking weed and playing video games or watching sports time. And I'm not really like I'm not usually making content. I'm not even talking to Alex because she goes to bed usually around like 9 o'clock or so. So I'm not like a night conversationalist, but might be the move to try to get some different audience in. So who knows? Keep your eyes peeled though. If you hit the notification bell, you'll know whenever I could somehow work up the gumption to stream at weird hours. Gino went pretty early here at 154 to end the great. So he just hard up for QB. Yeah, he just needed a QB too. And he had Jacoby Myers. So Geno Smith, not an option for third QB, unfortunately. Do I think Saquon and Hurts an okay stack? Do they vulture each other too much? I think it's okay. I think you're just capturing the fact that the Eagles are obviously defending Super Bowl champion. The Eagles being good again would not be a surprise. Them capturing a lot of rushing touchdowns would not be a surprise. The issue you run into is like you could get easily pretty lapped hardcore in the finals or something like that, or even in a playoff pod if the other people have Hurts and AJ Brown or Hurts and Devontae and one of those guys spikes. But you know, that's you're just playing it differently. So I don't hate it. And certainly for a week 17, there can be a world where you get, 2 touchdowns for, I'm going to take Cam Ward again, by the way. I'm a slappy who loves Cam Ward, but I want a third QB in, and I'm going to do some backdoor Tennessee again because it's easy. It's easy, and it's there every time. Until it's not there every time at pick 170, then I won't do it. But for now, people don't want to take Cam Ward. But I think for Saquon and Hurts, I think there's a world where they certainly both can get there in a week 17 where they pick up 2 touchdowns each. Frankly, a big lead for them is a really easy game script that the Eagles can land on with how good that defense is. See, I have no issue with it. I can see why people would be like, oh, they're vulturing each other, like blah, blah, blah. The projection, pure math of it would probably not be fantastic for like a DFS slate. But for best ball, you're trying to get that overall season thing. And you have a very high likelihood of them ping-ponging back and forth depending upon who absorbs the rushing touchdowns on a given week. Late night drafts beats Risen It with random single... Does it beat it? I mean, granted, I am not familiar with the life of rizzing it with single moms, but I appreciate you dating moms, though. That's good for Robert Griffith's Herd. Getting back in the game. I saw in our Discord, some of our guys also go into speed dating. I won't out them in case they don't want to be outed publicly, but that's kind of things we talk about in the Discord. Also football, also basketball, also occasionally baseball. But it's good to hear about your guys' lives and how they're going, and hopefully when they are going well, especially. Or even without Ridley and just taking Chig and Lockett feels like an instant plus 5% advance rate. Thank you, Nolan. Again, Nolan and Short Gamer. I would say if I were giving out awards for who I think are two of the sharpest guys who've won a lot of money in their time from what I've seen, I give Nolan the shout out too, alongside Short Gamer. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think that they are too cheap, number one. Number two, the fact that you have those late stacks. And Ayumanor, for as shitty as he was at Stanford, he is still a really good athlete who's going to be playing outside with a QB that likes to get the ball downfield. Like Cam Ward, if you haven't seen him play, and you should watch him play. I've also talked about the analytics enough times, but he's a deep ball thrower. He's a scrambler. He's like a playground ball guy. He's a kind of guy, much like Jaden last year and much like Stroud a couple of years ago, is just going to create value for the offense around him. I strongly believe that. And I really think, to me, unless Jackson Dart were to start week one, I think he's the only QB that's a rookie. It's going to come in, going to start week one and actually create value for that entire offense around him. Whereas like if Milroe plays, he's going to fucking drag it down. And I don't think he's going to play early, if at all, this year. If he plays, it's going to be because like Seattle's not good enough, and Darnold is an injury guarantee guy who might not play the end of the games if Seattle's not in the playoff hunt. But Seattle's in the playoff hunt, you're right there. Mason Taylor here is an ADP discount, but much like Nolan just said in that chat, we're going to take Chig here. So Chig, come on down. Second tight end. We've only got 6 receivers, but we've got a lot of late receivers on drafters that I like. So I'm feeling good about things so far. AR with a brain. Cam Ward, I don't know if I would say that. He's not going to be as good of a runner as AR, I would think. But he was really, again, he had like a 0.9 EPA per rush, I think. Where's my QB data? Cam Ward last year, 0.8 EPA per rush, 9 yards per rush, 24% avoided tackle rate. The underlying numbers here, the avoided tackle rate only ran 3.2 times a game. Like, it's not enough to think that he's going to be a very willing runner, but I think he'll be, I always say like a Joe Burrow runner. I think he's an elevated version of a Joe Burrow runner where like he's going to probably run, I would hope, 5 times a game. And if he does run, he might have a shot at really breaking a big one. Cam Ward's film has got him making like really nice run plays. But yeah, I don't know. Cam Ward, if the public keeps hating Cam Ward, they're going to make me like Cam Ward a lot more. Like if you gave me the bet, I would make the bet this year that Cam Ward outscores Drake May, everybody's favorite Drake May. I just don't think that offense is going to hum at all. Tennessee showed big signs of life with Mason Rudolph last year. Even Levis got the offense kind of working well enough for fantasy for some of the guys. I think Tennessee is a fantasy offense. People just don't like take the free guys. Appreciate that fact. Around the clock here. Need more receivers. Dontavian Wicks, 30% target per out run guy. Getting him at this stage of a draft. Happy to do that. Whenever we need more receiver firepower, Wicks is the guy. Coker, I skip over in every room. He's really got no pathway to big playing time. With Thielen still there, Leggett there. I'm adding in McMillan. Coker is a slot guy. I don't think he's a bad player, but the situation is not right for him. I don't know why he still goes top 200. Ayumanor still works Tennessee. If he comes all the way back around, I'll consider him again. But I think Wicks is a better click than Ayumanor in general right now. Lockett I would have taken if he were here, but he's all the way down, so we'll see what we get on the way back. But yeah, Ward, I'm going to love Ward more the more that the public doesn't go there. It really is how I feel about it. I just don't think they appreciate Ward. And again, one of the things that dude that I mentioned who seemed really dumb on DraftKings, the comedy left on Stochastic, it was like, oh, the number 1 pick, Cam Ward, he's probably trash. It's like, what? Like the number 1 pick who just got taken, who hasn't played a down of football in the pros, you're going to declare him to be trash? Stupid. But also the fact that we've now seen, like, again, 2 years in a row at the very least, might be 3. I forget who were the QBs the year before, 2 years ago, or I guess 3 years ago to be at this point. Well, like we've had Stroud be a big, QB surger that you needed. Bryce Young was awful year 1, so that one you could throw out the window. But Stroud was good enough that, like, okay, rookie crushed it in fantasy, made Nico Collins one of the best fantasy assets. We saw that happen. We saw it happen again last year, where I again shouted it from the mountaintops all year long about McLaurin and how he's going to look like the best version of himself. He does. He gets glowed up. He's now going top 25 in a lot of rooms. That we saw it happen last year with Jaden Daniels. Now we have Cam Ward coming in, and he's trash. Like, and he goes pick 170. Like, what is the logic there? He's like same archetype, exact same archetype in terms of the passing stuff. The rushing stuff Jaden has very unique. But the Cam Ward thing, if you're out there and you're not taking Cam Ward, take Cam Ward. QB2, QB3, whatever. Take him. I'm drafting the other Titans rookies ahead of the other Titans rookie ahead of Ayumanor. We talk about Gunnar Helm, or are we talking about Restrepo? Restrepo, I'm not taking a lot of yet, but I do need to tighten that up. I think once we get to camp and maybe take some more shots there. Lockett goes to Mr. Poopy Butthole, so unfortunately going to have to go. Might go Restrepo today, to be honest, because of that. But yeah, Restrepo, I don't think is a viable play in my opinion yet, because Lockett should be ahead of him. When Lockett's dust, that'll be the case. Ayumanor should be your Z receiver, I think, and your backup X to Ridley. So to me, Ayumanor, I can take shots at, and I'm going to do that here. Come on down, Elite Ayumanor. Round 18 here. Yeah, we got Ward, just trying to add a little more stacking on here with the Conquo. Could take a third tight end. Don't really need to, but we can. But nothing that would stack up, it looks like, at this point. Team so far, let's give it a read before we make our second to last pick. We got Brock Purdy, JJ McCarthy, Cam Ward as our QB room here. And again, I've defended Cam Ward enough. McCarthy as well was one of my better graded rookie QBs last year. I think he would have had a similarly positive effect on Minnesota's receiving room. The fact now he's got runway for the job. He's your starter. Like I think for McCarthy, I worry about him having big fantasy upside because of the way that he plays. Though he does run a little bit. So I don't know. In my brain, I just worry about him being a little bit of a Kenny Pickett who can create enough value for receivers, but maybe not for himself. But McCarthy took him in this room because we have Jefferson. But Ward, I like a lot. I will continue to cape for Ward in every stream. Bucky Irving, our hero RB, Jalen Warren, Tyrone Tracy, Travis Etienne, and Braylon Allen. Definitely some uncertainty here with the committee backs, Warren, Tracy, Etienne, Allen. But Bucky's going to carry a lot of water here. I think we maybe needed one more anchor RB up top to make this team really feel good for drafters and in general. At receiver, Jefferson, Moore, Zay Flowers, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall. Again, love that top five. Getting Josh Palmer on top of that, Wicks on top of that, Ayumanor. The receiver room, I think, will be one of the strengths of the team. And Brock Bowers, our elite tight end, Okonkwo also at tight end. Bowers, the big risk of that bringing Jency in absorbs some of that touchdown equity that you'd like to see Bowers get in his second year. But the target should be there for him. He, in my opinion, is their wide receiver one pretty clearly. Everything else is going to fall in line behind him. So I like to see him. Again, a couple ways it could have been better. That's probably going to be the case always. I do think third tight end's got to be one of these clicks. But tight end's getting dried up. Guys I would take late here. Theo Johnson goes. He's one of them. Arroyo could play outside a little bit for Seattle, though people always say that about tight ends and then it doesn't happen. But he's an okay receiver. Not a great target earner, though. Was he at Miami? Tesla, he's a player. Let's go receiver first. Oh, not Flatton. Feltz. Oh, fuck. Felt. Fuck. Ah! Blake Corum. Ah! Oh, a typo. Oh, Flatton. Oh, Flatton killed me. Oh, I hate Blake Corum so much. There's a world where I guess he hits if Kyron Williams dies. Kyron Williams gets his contract extension. He just gives up and he doesn't try anymore. Then maybe Blake Corum can hit. Ty Felton, though, gives us another Minnesota stack partner, taking Felton and Munt. Is Munt still on the team? No, Munt's on Jacksonville now. Who's the Vikings backup tight end? It's still Josh Oliver? He's got a contract, right? What I was thinking, though, was taking Felton and Naylor. I was hoping to get some spike week upside there. Your backup tight end is Josh Oliver. He's not an awful click. But yeah, Corum. Hey, Corum is a pick. I still think Corum is as dead as the markets do. Like Jarquez Hunter, a nicer pick, more fun pick, higher avoided tackle rate guy, though not as high as, frankly, some other guys could have been. Definitely not as high as Cam Skattebo. But I think Corum can still hit because he's your possible goal line touch guy. Could take a few away if you have any trust there. But I have to say, Corum would not have been my choice, obviously, had I actually made the choice. That was a tough auto click. Well, last pick coming up here. Let's see what we get. Sorry, Mr. Poopy Buttle. I'm not wishing death on Kyron Williams. I hope that he gets paid first. I hope he gets paid, and I hope he goes, well, you know what? Now that I got my money guaranteed, I'm retiring from football. And then he's like, I was really hurt. He pulls the T. Higgins last year. And he's got a ton of injuries. He doesn't want to go. That's your possibility, I guess, for Kyron if he doesn't get the contract. My guess is the Rams pay him, though. They seem close based upon the talk so far. My brilliant wife left our puppy on the loose when she left the house, which is not what we do with a 5-month-old dog. So after the stream, you can catch me cleaning up urine, perhaps, in the upstairs area. Great stream. The last pick coming up here, then we'll do one last read of the team. You are insane. All right, there we go. I have to call my wife insane. There are feces. She shit in my wife's office, which is in our upstairs. So we have 3 floors in the house. The basement is basically my space where we have our little gym and my little living area and the studio here. The upstairs, the middle floor is our living room, kitchen, dining, whatever. Top floor is where our bedrooms are, where Luca's bedroom, our bedroom is, where Alex's office is. She got up out of our bed the other night, took a big shit in the middle of Alex's office at 3:45 a.m. I had to pick it up. Because I just try to deal with the puppy stuff, so Alex doesn't have to deal with it. That you guys know, keep a home that's sane as much as possible. The shit that she took at her office was like the size, I said, of like a diner hamburger. It was like fucking like this. And I had to pick that shit up at 3:45. It was awful. It's really a terrible day. I'm going to take a receiver that actually didn't occur to me. And the Felton thing, we lost out on him. Nobody took him, right? But I am going to take DeMarcus Robinson. He's got his DUIs and all that. I think we have the Niners stack here. We didn't take Ayuk, so there's room for one more receiver on top. Maybe there's a world where DeMarcus Robinson gets some red zone looks again, which was a deliberate thing by the Rams last year. They were feeding him red zone looks, and nobody caught up with that. We talked about it a bunch on stream. But he had I think he had over 1 red zone target a game. DeMarcus Robinson had 0.7 red zone targets a game, which was even with guys like Kyle Pitts, Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Waddle, Jameson Williams, Rashad White, Ramondre Stevenson, Chuba Hubbard. Point being is he got targets. Now he's going to another team where they could probably use another red zone target earner. I think Pearsall's got a shot to do it, but that's my logic for taking Robinson here because we have the Purdy stack. Robinson can add some touchdowns. I like it. So final team here before I go clean up after the dog, after my wife is an idiot and leaves her out, which she's absolutely not ready to be out and alone. Brock Purdy, JJ McCarthy, Cam Ward at QB. At RB, Bucky Irving, Jalen Warren, Tyrone Tracy, Travis Etienne, Braylon Allen, and Blake Corum. The Corum ad was not great, but it did get us a 6 running back. So maybe there's a world where he hits. Not my favorite preferred outcome. At receiver, Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Josh Palmer, Dontavian Wicks, Alik Ayumanor, and DeMarcus Robinson. We just explained why to perhaps cope for taking him. The tight end, Brock Bowers, Chika Conquo to round us out. So completed our journey, guys. 3 drafts, 3 different platforms. The only one in the biz doing it because I'm unafraid to draft with you guys, without you guys on all the sites. So please show some love if you can. As I always talk about here, I'm just one guy keeping the channel afloat as best I can, showing you my gambling, keeping prepared every day on stream here, doing as many drafts as possible as well so I know these places and these ADPs like the back of my hand. That's what I try to do for you guys here. So show some love, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, join the Discord as well. $5 to join. You can get my rankings if you join the Squirt Squad, VIP tiers, but just join on there, join the community here. It's been a lot of fun hanging with you guys today. It'll be more fun if you get in the Discord where we have a little growing community there. Not too big, not too small, just right, says both Mama Bear and also my wife. Gamble responsibly, guys. Check out Stochastic, 15% off, link down below for all your DFS and data needs. Really do check that out to support the show directly. Half your money you pay to Stochastic comes in here. Unabated, 20% off, link down below. And Drafters, the big one here. $100 deposit match on Drafters. I didn't do these streams because Drafters sponsor them. So please go check them out. Your money will go further on Drafters. You also have seen me build 2 straight days. Pretty sick teams on stream, including while being baked off my ass on stream yesterday. So check it out for yourself here. Drafters.com, promo code SPLASH, or download the Drafters app and use it on there. Again, $500K up top, their big tournament, and $100 deposit match. So good things going for you and a lot of free entries as well if you try to get to 150 entries in this big tournament. But gamble responsibly, guys. As you guys know, even it is always money time here. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow this channel at Splash Play Pod. Back next week with more, so hit the notification bell. You'll see whenever I go live. I'll see you guys again soon. Enjoy your days. Good luck, and let's strap in, guys. Best ball summer just beginning, and I feel I'm really hitting my stride. So hopefully you are too. But see you guys soon. Bye-bye.